Wait for it to pop off. Look in your bottom right-hand screen, bottom right corner.
You know, energy running low over here at the chair, so please bear with us as we approach the ending of also a very.
There you go. It's starting to initiate. All right. So what you're looking at right now in this bottom right-hand corner is you have a squad online, and they have initiated essentially an ambush on an unknowing enemy squad, Satyr. So Al-Zalaam is set up. They're at a linear ambush, and they are engaging an enemy squad.
Oh, shit, I didn't even pay attention to this.
All right, so what you see right now is you have already off rip Al-Zalaam in a better formed position. They are already formed up, and we've already hit one thing, right, which is surprise, right? We engaged the enemy first, and it was very quickly, and then if you continue to watch, it becomes very violent, meaning the amount of rounds down range, the munitions we're throwing at them, it prevents them from really understanding what's happening.
The whole fight down here erupting.
Yep. All right, so
we've got
they're suppressing, they're suppressing.
Yeah, also I'm quick on the movement here, you know, realizing
suppressing,
that
trying to pin the enemy, trying to fix them in place.
The best course of action here is probably just get away from the.
All right, what you're going to notice now is you're going to notice the speed portion, right? So we had violence of action and surprise. The final part of the triangle, which we'll go over here in a second, is going to be the speed. So I want you to see how quickly 1-3 wraps around.
From the little bowl,
to finish this.
You know, Russians being able to put down so much explosive, or so much explosive fire, you know, they definitely realize that it's not a position that they want to be in by any means.
Yeah, it does look like that's the Al-Zalaam faction was able to initiate the engagement.
So 1-3 is trying to get all his guys together and get ready to move
on the ground, and no casualties from Al-Zalaam. So very interesting engagement. Looks like that ambush did work in their favor. Can they capitalize here? This is a lone Satyr squad. There are two Al-Zalaam elements here that could be utilized in order to pick these guys off if we're quick enough. And it looks like we are seeing some of that movement here.
1-2, not 1-3.
Kind of kick out.
So like 1-2 is they're moving quickly. Like they analyze the situation and realize the enemy's fixed in place. There's a lull in the fight. We're going to capitalize.
Yeah, some rapid flanking.
Yeah, as I mentioned, like very.
So they're bounding back. Look, they have cover. They're bounding back.
Making process just almost instant.
These guys
are
switched over to a watch and shoot. They're kind of giving themselves some breathing room.
Drag the rest of the team to like try to rescue us. So definitely taking the right decisions here to like ensure that they're in the right spot. And as we say that,
all right, so in this instance, we have essentially, again, surprise and balance of action.
Al-Zalaam here engaging 1-2
but you need to have the final part of the triangle, which is that speed portion.
They're going to be overmatched.
So here comes, here's the speed. They recognize that they are being overwhelmed by the enemy's balance of action. Al-Zalaam was caught off guard, so they're the ones that are surprised. So they're going to immediately break contact. They're going to utilize speed to break contact.
Before you take casualties is critical, right? Because the second you end up with a casualty, you have to then make that.
Fast forward a little bit.
Information gets disseminated.
Isolated element.
All right, here we go. So remember, we had speed. I'm sorry, we had surprise and balance of action, and that's how we essentially pinned this enemy in place. Now we're going to see speed happen in real time.
Once again, exactly.
They're coming quickly.
As Al-Zalaam,
they're not burning any time. They're not wasting ammo.
Any one-to-one engagements as much as possible.
They're quickly getting on the flank.
The trick here is going to be the perfect maneuver out from Al-Zalaam in order
coordinating.
to make sure
they're talking about, hey, team 1 push out right, team 2 take middle, team 3 you're gonna have left. Get online, get online. We're moving south to north.
A 1-3
you see them slowly starting to get to another linear, essentially file or skirmishers. Excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you caught this before, but we
and now we have right this left side. There's one part of the L. This bottom side is going to be the other longer part of the L, and the enemy now cannot go anywhere, right? If they try and run to the north, these guys will see them. If they try to run towards our boys on the left, they're going to see them. If the enemy tries to run south, they're going to run into Al-Zalaam. If they try and run to the east, Al-Zalaam is going to see them. Right, so this is why being quick, right, having the speed to actually get around to a position and maneuver yourself where you can cut the enemy off from any kind of maneuver or escape.
Yeah, being able to see
highly
is
like that is
critical. Seeing
sought after.
How important command plays, and you know that could be a double-edged sword. And
here we go, finishing them off.
experience.
more violence of action
inexperienced
here,
commanders,
putting rounds
there's
on
only
target.
one way to get experience, and that's by making
This guy
mistakes,
probably
playing the game,
he had no chance.
and learning. Yeah, these this Satyr element caught with their tail between their legs in this ditch, and just about to be
Al-Zalaam starts
absolutely
to slowly
overrun
squeeze, right?
by
We don't want to rush to our
essentially
death,
the main.
but within the triangle,
here.
speed, surprise, violence of action, we're going to slide. Think of it as a slider, all right? They're going to close on the enemy, so they're going to. Here comes speed. Now, this guy was really reckless in doing that.
Completely cut off from the rest of the.
But if we go back, okay, on the continuum here of the triangle, if you are lacking in speed, you need to compensate for surprise and violence of action, right? If you know, talking to the Rangers and Satyr, if you know that you don't have the speed because Al-Zalaam is 10% faster than the conventional factions, if you know that, we need to capitalize on having the surprise and violence of action on Al-Zalaam. If Al-Zalaam knows that we have speed, right? Al-Zalaam's like, hey, we have the speed, right? Let's get to a point where we can utilize surprise and violence of action. If one thing is missing, you're going to have to compensate with the other two, right? If I don't have enough violence of action, right? Say I'm running low on ammo and I don't have enough 40 mic, or I don't have enough 7.62 for my belt feds. I'm going to have to be very quick with my maneuver, and I'm going to have to hit them so suddenly that they're put on the back foot and they stay on the back foot. And while they're so confused on what's happening, I have to be quick about how I get to them and kill them because I don't have enough ammo to sustain violence of action, right? That's what I mean by this sliding, right? So you're going to have to be able to find yourself within this triangle, right? If you can have all three, ideally, perfect. If you can't, then you're going to have to compensate somewhere. All right, so now at the end of the day, right, speed, surprise, violence of action is you want to create a moment where the enemy's so confused, they're so shocked that they are literally unable to process what's happening in a time period in which they can now start countering you, right? This will allow the attacking force to achieve your objective quickly and decisively. It's also about taking the fight to the enemy with overwhelming confidence and aggression, and you're not really waiting for the enemy to hit you back, right? Imagine like this, okay? Imagine you're a fighter, all right? There's the opponent in front of you, you're boxing. You're jabbing him, you're hitting him from the front, you're jabbing, you're applying that pressure, right? You're hitting him. You're waiting for an opening. You see the opening, and then you just immediately swing with a right hook. Boom. Hit him from the flank. You're jabbing. Boom. Hook him. That is how you need to think about essentially anytime you get into contact. You jab, you keep him at a distance, you keep him at a healthy distance, you're holding him there, and then when you see an opening, boom, you flank left or right, and you hook him. All right, are there any questions about speed, surprise, or violence of action? Anything at all? All right, cool. No questions. All right, we're going to move on how to communicate effectively. All right, so I'm pretty sure we've all been in a position where you're listening to the radio and someone is literally giving you a whole novel about what's happening. They're literally giving you a stream of consciousness of what they're doing, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. And if someone's doing that, tell them to stop, right? Because the last thing you want to do is you want to be so consumed with trying to mentally process what this guy is saying on the radio or other people trying to process what you're saying on the radio that it distracts them from what's happening in front of them, right? So this report right here that you see in front of you, the salute report, is going to be your best friend, right? The other one you could do is the 3Ds, direction, distance, description. If you want to write that down, direction, distance, description. But if you are, say you're not in contact yet, right? But you see the enemy and you want to let everyone know what you see, the best thing you can do is utilize this six line report. And you can omit some of it too, right? You can say, hey, here's the size. So example, hey, squad leader, this is fire team leader 1, or this is alpha team. I see an enemy fire team. They're crossing a danger area just north of our location, about 300 meters. They appear to be whatever. You can skip for Bellum specific. You can skip the unit in uniform. You know what faction you're going against. So you don't even have to say, hey, they're wearing this camouflage. They have these guns. Now, when it comes to equipment, that changes. Don't worry about time observed, right? But you skip onto equipment. That's super important. Hey, there's an enemy fire team. They're about 200. They're crossing a linear danger area, or they're patrolling out in the open. They're about 200 meters north of here. However, I see that at least one of them has a PKM, right? That's huge. We need to know that. Hey, one of them has an RPG. Hey, one of them has a grenade launcher. That is very important information that needs to get passed, because that will help the squad leader and the platoon leader or platoon sergeant. That will help them decide whether or not the juice is worth the squeeze to take these out, right? Is the risk worth the reward? Now, if you're in contact, you're the one that's in contact. You just got ambushed. 3Ds, direction, distance, description, right? So direction, 200 meter or direction, 12 o'clock, 100 meters, enemy fire team. That's all you need to say. You don't need to try and give everybody a 99-page thesis on what's happening. And realistically, you can even shorten to just a direction and a distance, because the volume of fire is also going to help you understand like the type of enemy you're going against. Because if you're receiving 40 mic rounds or you're receiving RPG rounds, do you really need to describe that you're facing an RPG gunner? No, you know you're facing an RPG gunner. So you just need to try and hone in and pinpoint where the enemy is based off of your Mark 1 eyeballs. But this salute report will be your best friend when it comes to how to communicate effectively. So the key thing to take away for communicating effectively, right, is using one or two things. The first one, if you are initiating on an enemy, you'd use a salute report. If you are the one receiving fire, you use the 3Ds, okay? As well as, I am not giving a stream of consciousness about every little thing I'm doing over the radio. It's a quick 1-1, this is 1-2, be advised, I'm on your left flank. Boom, done, end of story. Because guess what he has? An ATAC. He can look, he can see. Hey, 1-6, this is 1-3, be advised, we're receiving heavy fire from the north. Perfect. That in of itself tells me everything I need to know as your platoon leader. I know that you're in contact. I can look and see on my ATAC who's where, and then I can start maneuvering and getting a battle plan going. I don't need you to say, hey, 1-6 is 1-3. I'm taking heavy effective fire. I think there's 10 of them. I'm losing fire team 1. I'm down on ammo. That doesn't help me. It doesn't help anyone else. All we need to know is you're in contact and what direction is it and roughly how far. That's all we need to know. Okay. Are there any questions on communication and how to communicate effectively? A lot of this might seem very like common sense, but common sense isn't so common anymore. Nothing on communication. Okay, we're going to move on. All right, leadership roles and responsibilities. What is the point of friction versus the point of influence? So we have a little diagram here. All right, I want you to direct your attention in the upper left-hand corner. So the point of friction is essentially where the rubber meets the road. And what I mean by that is the best way to picture it is where is all the action happening, right? If you're the squad leader, right, you're probably not the guy in the very front, and you're probably not the guy that's online shooting. You're probably a little bit further back, and as you should. That's where you should be. However, the fire team leaders, they are closer, at least they should be closer and integrated with their fire teams. They are at what's known as the point of friction, right? This is where anything that could go wrong will go wrong, and you as a fire team leader need to be able to mitigate that point of friction with initiative-based tactics and critical thinking. Now, back here in the green is the squad leader, who would be at the point of influence. Now, if the squad leader, let's say, was over here, his point of influence is probably his sphere of influence is probably only going to be able to affect him. Maybe him if he's loud enough. Okay? This guy is kind of left in the dust. Now, if he is the squad leader's at the point of influence, which is where he is right here, he can now communicate effectively to all 3 fire team leaders and influence their actions at the point of friction. Because now, guess what he can do? He can say, hey, action right, action right. So what does that mean? He is influencing the squad to conduct an action, utilizing the fire team leaders who are at the point of friction to take the initiative to execute said action. So if he says action right, that tells fire team 1 and 2 to hold and be the base of fire. Fire team 3 takes the initiative at the point of friction and begins his action right, i.e. his maneuver to the right, his flanking to the right. And then he'll start to sweep through. Do we all see that? Can we all like understand what that is? Does everyone get that? Does anyone have any questions about that? Literally anything. I know the point of friction, point of influence can be confusing for some people. Really, no questions? Okay. All right, cool. So just to recap, if you find yourself as the platoon or as the squad leader, your role, your job is to be at the point of influence. Your job is to influence your team leaders who are at the point of friction to conduct an action. Again, through initiative-based tactics and critical thinking. All right? You as a squad leader, if you are a squad leader, you should never, ever, 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 ever be at the point of friction. If you find yourself somewhere up here at the point of friction, that's cool. You're with your boys, you're shooting and stuff. But if you go down, the squad leader's out of the fight. We want to avoid that. Imagine if your PL or your platoon sergeant was up here in the fight and he died. You would look at him and be like, "What are you doing, dude? We need you in the rear so you can help, so you can coordinate." So for you as a squad leader, do not be up in the front. Team leaders have a little bit more freedom of maneuver where they can kind of bounce back and forth, right? They can kind of be a little further back, right? If you as a team leader need to be further back here to get a better sight picture of your team as well as what's happening up here where the enemy is at, do so, right? Because remember, your weapon system is your fire team first, your gun second. Again, if you're in any leadership position, your weapon system is the men under your charge first, and then your personal weapon system second, right? Because if you're focused on shooting your rifle, then you are employing your men. You're doing them a disservice, okay? Let's go back here. All right, that is point of influence and point of friction. Now, I'm gonna keep asking you guys questions. And up until this point, are there any questions about speed, surprise, violence, and action, effective communication, and the 2 kind of reports that you would throw in, or leadership roles and responsibilities?
One thing I would ask is if you could talk more about the decision making as far as point of friction, which direction you should direct your squad or your fire team to maneuver.
Okay, perfect. So let me see if I can just make this bigger. I got you. Okay, so let me regurgitate your question to you to make sure I understand what you're asking me. You're asking me, how does one individual, say the fire team leader, at the point of friction, take that initiative and make those initiative-based critical thinking decisions? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, yes. How
Okay.
do you know in the moment whether you should break left, right, pull back, that kind of thing?
Okay. So everyone hates this answer. I hate this answer. I hate being told this answer, but it rings true. Situation dictates. More specifically, the terrain dictates. Because in Bellum, right, because we're teaching this in context to Bellum, Bellum is a very elevation dense map, as well as a very vegetated dense map. Okay, so if I am taking contact in a thick tree line, right, and I am, fire team, we'll say 1, and then fire team 2 is back here, and we're in a fire team 3 is right here. We're just in a squad staggered column, and then we take contact from, we'll say, I don't know, bad guy fire team right here. You as a fire team leader have to understand, because you are the closest one to contact. You have to do a lot of split-second decisions, right? First one being, what am I getting engaged with? Is it something that is a mass casualty producing weapon, like a PKM or an RPG or 40 Mike, right? Once you have that question answered, you then have to look left and right. Where is the first place of cover and concealment for me, right? Where can I defend myself but still be able to shoot back, right? So I'm looking left, I'm looking right. This is still a question mark, right? From there, I have to also be conscious of, did I just take casualties in the moment? If I did, how many did I take, right? So there's another question mark we have to know, okay? And I'm sure you can start to see the theme here, right? You're doing this split second analyzation of what's going on, and I have to then go, okay, well, let's play this scenario. Say it's a machine gun team, right? He's suppressing the dog water out of us. I then have to look left and right. Okay, I see that there is rocks over here, and then I see that there is maybe a fallen log over here and some bushes. Where do you think you should put your team?
Sorry, the top is
The rocks.
you said a log rock.
The
All right.
rocks. Bottom
Yeah,
bottom is the
behind
log.
hard cover.
Yeah, exactly, right? So a lot of these things are common sense. It just takes practice at recognizing the terrain around you and the situation in front of you, and then executing. And the second piece to that is the communication, right? So your original question being, how do I know what to do in the moment, is you look at what's in front of you, you look at what's left and right of you, right? The first thing you're doing now is, how can I survive what's happening? Where is my most survivable position? Once you identify that most survivable position, you fight from that position, and then you're essentially waiting for your buddies to catch up, and then essentially get on your left and right in this situation, right? Now, you could be in the rear, right? What if you're in the rear this time? What if you're fire team 3? Fire team 1 just took contact. You can observe in front of you. Oh shit, I see fire team 2. They just went right. Common sense would say I need to go left. Again, common sense isn't so common anymore. That's why we're doing these things, right? Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yes. I guess the follow on to that is, as a fire team leader, how much autonomy should you take as far as maneuvering your team? Say fire team 1 takes contact. I'm fire team leading team 3, and fire team 2 doesn't seem to be making any moves. Do I have is it reasonable for me to take leadership there and say, all right, fire team 3, we are moving north and getting online with fire team 1, and we're going to flank around that contact?
Wolfie hot mic. Wolfie hot mic.
Or is that something I should seek
Wolfie
from
hot mic.
the
Wolfie
squad
hot mic.
leader?
Wolfie hot mic. I don't have perms to mute him.
I don't have
Unfortunately.
either.
It's okay. All right. Hopefully you heard us. Okay, so here's the best case scenario, right? If your squad leader trusts you and you've built good rapport and you have a good relationship, I say I'll give you personal anecdotal evidence, or anecdote. One of my deployments, I had a great fire team core. All 3 of my fire team leaders, these dudes were solid. All of them were school trained. All of them knew what's what. And I could literally, they put me out of a job, right? They literally, I didn't really need to be there. I was essentially babysitting and making sure they didn't get into too much trouble, because they knew what to do, because we drilled it. If your squad leader, and you have a good relationship, and he has that trust with you and you have that trust with him, where say he goes down and he dies, he can trust that you will make the right decision to go ahead and get online like that. That's a great decision, right? That's good on you. That's initiative-based tactics. You're bringing the fight to the enemy. And realistically, in real life, what we do is, if one fire team is pinned down, say fire team 1 and the enemy fire team are exchanging shots, but then fire team 2 is also suppressed and they can't move, you have to find another unit to essentially bring up the rates of fire to allow fire team 2 the freedom of movement to make them unsuppressed, right? Now, that's all if there's trust involved. Now, imagine, if you will, your squad leader is still alive, but he says, hey, I don't want you pushing up there. Okay. Now, this is where you have to have a good give and take in communication, right? It's almost like being in a relationship with your significant other, right? You have to be able to communicate effectively, because a squad leader, if he's a good squad leader, remember, he's at the point of influence, right? So he'd probably be in the middle here, so he can influence all three teams or all three team leaders. Maybe he's also, because of the stray rounds, he's also in the line of fire and he's also pinned down. He can't see a lot, so he has to hit the deck. You, as a team leader, you're still in a leadership position. You say, hey, squad leader, I see an opening on the left. I can push my guys there and begin suppression. If he's a good squad leader, he'll trust your judgment. You'll go push to the left. You begin your suppression. That will then alleviate 2 and 1 and the squad leader himself to also get online and maybe get back in the fight, right? So the autonomy is strictly based off of your relationship with your squad leader. And it is just a video game, so it's not like you're actually losing anything. I would argue if you are a squad leader or you like playing squad leader, have a quick conversation with your team leaders in the staging time before the match starts to get a feel for them. And then hopefully, right, you have a good vibe. You guys can set expectations for each other. That's what I'll do that with the squad. When I PL in Bellum, I'll pull the squad leaders in and I'll say, hey guys, here are my expectations, right? And I'll give them a quick layout of an SOP. I'll say, hey, SOP for this match is if you're the unit closest to contact, you're the base of fire. Everyone else, you begin maneuver immediately, no questions asked. Once I have that expectation set, it's easy. Everyone knows what to do, and you have full autonomy at that point. Now break that down to the squad level. Your squad leader brings you in, or you as a squad leader bring your fire team leaders in and say, hey guys, fire team closest to contact or in contact, you bring the heat. You give them the business, you lay down hate and discontent, and you make them regret shooting at us. The other two fire teams, guess what? One of you is going to maneuver. I don't care who, but whoever has the opening, you go first. Let us know. We'll cover for you. If you can communicate that effectively to your fire team leaders, boom. That I'm telling you, 80% of the problems that people will face when it comes to not knowing what to do or waiting to be told what to do will go away. Decentralized command. That's what you want. Decentralized command.
Okay.
That was a whole
Thank
word vomit. I know. I'm sorry.
No, that was helpful because that's one of the things that I struggle with as fire team leader is how much autonomy should I take? So thank you. That was helpful.
Cool. Does anyone else have any questions about communication or the leadership positions and roles? Anything at all?
On the point of friction, I want to have your thought process on this. Should the on Bellum specific public match with randoms, should the FTL be leading by example? And with a unit, which person should be set on point? Like obviously not the medic, but I was thinking maybe the automatic rifleman or the grenadier. I just want to have your thought process on this.
Yep. So you're talking about two things, okay? So one of those things is called the fighter leader concept, and the other one of those things is risk management. Okay, so we'll break down fire leader. Good Lord, words. Fighter leader concept. The fighter leader concept is that you as the team leader absolutely should be leading your team, right? When you guys, if you have any sort of foundation in maneuver warfare, right? You know what buddy rushing is, right? Do you know what buddy rushing is? Or buddy bounding?
Yeah.
Okay, right? So a lot of times, and this will happen in real life as well, a lot of times you'll see people, let me erase all of these things here so we can start clean. A lot of people, these represent the 4 guys in a fire team, okay? Here's the fire team leader, here's your automatic rifleman, here's your grenadier, and then just say here's your rifleman, okay? A lot of times when people first take contact and they get down, they will stay down. They're getting shot at, they will stay down, they'll stay in the prone, and then they will then also be shooting back. But at this point, we're just 2 static units shooting at each other. Nothing's happening. At this point, we are wasting ammo. Well, I think my dog needs to go out real quick. 1 second. I can actually still talk. Hold on. The wireless headset, baby. Hold on. Ooh. Switching over. There we go. Okay. So you essentially have 2 units just shooting at each other. And we have a saying in the military, suppression without movement is a waste of ammo. Movement without suppression is suicide. Okay? What does that mean? If you're just shooting at these guys and nothing is happening except you just shooting, you're literally shooting rounds that you're going to eventually have to go all the way back to the fob for. And guess what? You're now out of the fight for the time that takes you to run all the way back to the fob to rearm and come back. Okay? So At this point, you as a fire team leader should be the first person, whether through verbal command or through action, stand up and move, right? If you're buddy rushing, meaning you're just literally buddy bounding, you're standing up, I'm up, he sees me, I'm down, getting back down, you're shooting again. Or, right, you yell at your team, hey, peel left, peel right, or action left, action right. You're giving them verbal commands and you're telling them what to do, right? Now, let's swap over to, we'll call it like risk management, okay? So risk management in this case, for the second half of your question, is going to be, let me undo this. Are you familiar with formations?
Yep.
Okay, so risk management would be, hey, here is a linear danger area. Do I want to cross, or do I want to walk up this linear danger area in a single file line like this, going up the road? Or do I want to maybe push my guys out on either side of the road in the vegetation? You know what I'm saying? Right? That is risk management. And it's basically common sense. Like you said, I'm not putting the medic out in the front to be point man. One second, let me call my dog back in. King, come inside. Oh, I think my dog just ran out the backyard. I might be cooked, guys. Chat, I'm cooked. Oh, there you are. Come on, buddy. Get inside. Good boy. All right, sorry. But so risk management, you need to be able to identify that we'll go to more in depth. Actually, we'll take it a little bit deeper. We'll get more complicated with this because it sounds like you have an idea of a little bit more advanced stuff. Okay, so let's undo this. All right, you are crossing an open danger area for whatever reason, and you're in a I'm a Marine, so I'll do Marine wedge. Here's your rifleman. We'll say here's you as the fire team leader. But you know, without a shadow of a doubt, contact is either going to be in front of you or it's going to be to your left flank. Who do you think from the 4 billets is going to be on that left side? Who would you put on the left side?
I would put him as
Who?
sure about that. I would put as much firepower as possible, so the automatic rifleman.
Yep, perfect. Automatic rifleman. Excuse my writing. AR, and then I'll probably have maybe my grenadier over here, right? Or maybe even put my grenadier right here and then my rifleman over here. Those are interchangeable, right? But you know for a fact that somewhere over on this left or front is where you're going to take contact for sure, right? Now this goes for everybody, being able to identify if I am moving from, and let me pull up this map here, actually, military map. Here we go. So if I am moving, we'll say Al-Zalaam in red, Ranger is in blue. If I, as the Rangers, know for a fact that there are enemy to my immediate west, there are 2 things that I need to do. One, I should probably set a fire team up to watch the west and then allow the other team to cross and maybe do a box recon or just sweep through a preliminary sweep before we even get into contact, right? Or say maybe, hey, I know there's enemy there. They see us, we see them. Let me quickly get speed, surprise, violence of action, rounds down range. Hey, discontent, bang, 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 bang. And then these guys go across, right? And then once you make it here, right, and you get across and you know contact is imminent to your south or directly in front of you, you know it's only going to be in front of you, you might as well just get into a skirmishers at that point, big dog. Or online with each other. And you all are going down this way. And then you can engage the enemy that the other fire team was just shooting at. Did I answer your question about risk management and then kind of like what to do at the point of friction?
Yeah, but I use a different formation for a different situation, like the wedge when contact is probable and firing line when contact is highly probable in a known area. But my question was more when I play Bellum and I play with random, I'm FTL and I'm on point because it's kind of hard to lead people exactly where I want to go. So as an FTL, I'll go in front. I know it's not the best to lead them correctly into contact and the way I want, but in a unit, we have the opportunity to put someone else in front, like maybe the grenadier. That could be more. If he dies, I mean, it's not like you lose all command, the fire team command, and you lose the firepower of the
So I would
automatic
argue,
rifleman.
that even in a pub match, you don't need to be in the front. You just need to keep him on a short leash. Don't be an asshole, right? Don't be a dick. Obviously, right? It's a video game at the end of the day. We're not. No one's actually dying from this, okay? But we're all here to play a certain niche genre of a game. So you would assume that they're here for the milsim aspect of it, and they're willing to listen to chain of command. But I would, even in a pub match, brother, I would just be like tight with that guy in the front, right? And I would give him direction. I would say, hey, brother, you should go. We're going to move direct front. Okay, we're moving direct front. And he starts to veer off a little to the left. Just say, hey, can you turn a little bit more right? Just a little bit more right, right? And then maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's new, right? That would be the perfect time to give him space to fail, right? Failure, or FAIL, stands for first attempted learning. Let them fail, because they're only going to get better by failing, because now they're learning from their mistakes. Experience is the best teacher, I promise, right? So if you're always in the front, right, which is not bad leading from the front, but if you're always in the front, you are also probably going to be the first guy to go down. If you're always first to be in the front, you're going to be the first one to go down. That doesn't help anybody, right? Your job as the fire team leader is, again, to employ your subordinate units, right, as your weapon system. Your rifle is secondary. These guys are your primary weapon system. These guys is essentially your hand and fingers squeezing the trigger. You are the brain telling them where to point and where to shoot. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally.
Cool. Does anyone else have anything related to communication, leadership roles and responsibilities, point of friction, point of influence, anything like that? All right, cool. Let's go back to our document here. All right, so we're going to go over each faction's strengths and weaknesses and essentially how we can capitalize on them, all right? So right here, I already have written Al-Zalaam has speed, right? We all tracking that they get a 10% speed boost. Was anyone not tracking that? If you weren't, now you are. And the Rangers and Satyr, right, they have like no shit weapon squads, okay? So how can we really play to the strength of that? Let's go to our little mappy map. All right, so I wish this does have contour lines. Perfect. Okay. Let's find a decent. Okay. So here's some. I don't know if you can tell. Zoom in. The closer contour lines are together, the more elevation it has. Okay. Just for anyone who didn't know that. Right. So if you see a lot of lines close together, it means there's a lot of elevation change. In this instance, this up here is higher than this down here. You can tell due to the contour lines and how tight they are. Right. And then how it kind of sparses out right here. So we'll use this area, for example, and it slopes down, by the way. That's a whole nother map reading class we can get into. Let's just say 1-1 is up here, and for this point, we'll just say 1-2 is the weapons squad. Okay. Rangers and Satyr, they have actual weapons like squads, meaning I can dedicate an entire squad with heavy or medium weapons, right? The 240 or the PKM or the Gustav, Carl G, whatever you want to call it, without sacrificing an entire rifle squad. What this allows then is this allows a whole nother maneuver element to be able to get into the fight. And let's just say, hey, assholes are over here. We're on the elevated terrain, my weapons squad. I can then send another unit around to conduct that maneuver, that flank from the east to the west. Okay. Now, that's the Satyr and the Rangers' strength. The weakness to that, though, is they're slower, and this is a fixed position. Once you set those machine guns in, you are now a fixed position. Sure, you could argue I could stand up and move, but at that point, you're no longer accomplishing your task or mission, which is providing support as a base of fire or support by fire for that maneuver element. So you are, for all intents and purposes, fixed in place. Which means that if the maneuver takes too long to get here, this is just going to be a slugfest. And if the enemy is smart, they will have some sort of maneuver element somewhere out here, right? And they're going to sweep you. And they have the strength of speed, and they're going to be able to move quickly. And you want to avoid that, right? So you need to be quick with how you do this, or you have overwhelming volumes of fire to essentially keep them so pinned down that you can get there without allowing them to break off a maneuver element. All right. So that's the strength of Rangers and Satyr. The strength of Al-Zalaam, we'll play it.
Right. So even
we'll
if
play
they
it here.
Take some casualties.
I want you guys to watch
Question
this.
is going to be, can
Hold on. Where is it? That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Hold on, boys. We're getting there.
For control of this area.
tactic
We got to get to the point
out
where
one
1-2 comes
gnarly
out
engagement.
swinging.
and Satyr
Oh, there it is.
best
Okay.
positional advantage.
All right, so check this out. Satyr has just crossed the open danger area.
But we do have
1-3 is now receiving rounds like there's no tomorrow. Right? 1-3 was the base of fire for 1-1 to give context. So 1-3 is the base of fire for 1-1 who came from back here, top of screen, and they're moving down on the enemy here. Okay. The enemy has their base of fire and their maneuver out here. So you literally have an overlapped sandwich of two bases of fire next to each other, shooting at each other, and two exterior flanking elements flanking at the exact same time. All right.
an ambush from Al-Zalaam.
And this is where you will really see Al-Zalaam's speed be their strength. What you don't see on the
Yeah,
screen
and then
now
that
is
Satyr
1-2
element up
from
north, as you
Al-Zalaam
mentioned,
is
getting
running
into-
all the way back from Fob.
Some
They've
devastating
just
results
rearmed.
here.
Okay?
We'll see if they
Karmika
continue
has
pressing
zoomed
that
out.
flank or try to
You don't see 1-2 at all yet, right? They're still not in the game. They're still
Maneuver
not in the
again.
fight.
But 1-3 getting chewed up down here on the south for sure.
Let it play through. Let it
We're
play
seeing 1-3
through.
Satyr respond, orienting north now. But there are
See if
still
we
a
can get-
significant amount of
Here we go.
Satyr up here.
You should all right, boom. You see 1-2. Okay? This is where Al-Zalaam's speed is such a pivotal point if you're playing as them, right? If you're Al-Zalaam, you have to take in, and we say this time and time again, Al-Zalaam has no body armor, but they're fast. So what is the best way to employ Al-Zalaam? Hit and run tactics, guerrilla warfare. Do not get decisively engaged. Kill what you can, get out of there before you get essentially suppressed and pinned. So we've done a feint or a deception play or tactic without even trying to. It wasn't planned this way to be a feint, but it worked. We started
Yeah, and
drawing
one
in the
Al-Zalaam
enemy
squad
flank
just out of position,
to
not
get
able to
counter
provide any
flanked
value
from
in
the
this
same
engagement.
direction by
Might be
1-2.
the difference.
And they were only able to do this and get there in time because of how fast
Yeah,
Al-Zalaam
honestly, might be the difference
10%
between
speed
winning
boost
and
doesn't
losing
seem
the
like
fight
a
right
lot until you're
Unless
trying to
that
find an
Al-Zalaam
enemy who's
element can
quite really moving
wrap
faster
around
than you.
behind this other.
Then it's like, oh shit, like
Russian
I'm,
squad and really,
it's hard for
turn
me
the
to
tide on
catch
that
up.
whole general direction and start clearing from. From
So
south to
1-2
north.
is going to cover an insane amount of ground.
We currently do have that 1-1.
Let's see if we can. All right, here is the enemy unit that flanked us. White, and then we
Yeah,
called out
there's a
1-2.
whole-
Yep, here they go.
There's
Just moving.
a whole Al-Zalaam
boogieing
element
it.
coming in.
There they go. There they go. Quickly, right?
Pretty
Because they need
gnarly
to get there
engagement
before
here.
the boys get
The
wiped.
question is if this 1-1 element up north can reconstitute, but I think leadership is down here. This element might be white,
Play out. Let this play out. Here they come.
but 1-2 is coming in. They might be able to get in here and, like, if they can get in here and attend to the mass cal of 1-3,
Here we go.
that is massive, right? And they can pick the fight up again from there.
And it's gonna get crazy here in a second. Again,
There's not many
Al-Zalaam's
guys
speed
still alive
is
from
one thing you need
1-3,
to play to.
but if they can
There it is.
somehow reconstitute,
They were able
that's
to get there
critical.
very quickly. Save their literally
Yeah,
Gandalf over the ridge
Yeah,
line.
you could definitely
Right? The cavalry has
the entire
arrived.
thing around in favor of the Al-Zalaam team.
Just because they were fast enough to get to that position, right? This right here, if you are joining late, this right here is the perfect example of speed, surprise, and violence of action on the triangle of speed, surprise, violence of action. They quite literally got there fast as no other. They surprised the enemy by hitting him in the rear, and the amount of rounds that they unloaded into the enemy, this squad had no idea what. By the time the last survivor understood what was going on, whoever the last guy was, it was too late, right? And that's what happens when you utilize the speed of Al-Zalaam. All right, so that is Al-Zalaam's strength, right? So it's a give and take, right? If the Rangers have weapon squads, right, which means they can provide overwhelming firepower. Wow, misspelling. Overwhelming firepower. However, right, this does not equal maneuverability. Okay, give me a second to try and spell this. Oh boy, maneuverability. Did I get it first try? Hey-oh! All right. On the flip side, maneuverability does not equal overwhelming firepower. So Al-Zalaam, they get maneuverability. Rangers and Satyr, they get overwhelming firepower. And you can utilize both to your advantage, or one or the other to your advantage, but how you do it matters, right? It 100% matters. You can't just say, oh, I'm Al-Zalaam, I move quick. That's cool that you move quick, boss, but do you know how to move quick? Do you know what to do with that kind of speed? You could be Rangers or Satyr. Hey, I have overwhelming firepower with my weapon squad. That's cool, dude. Do you know how to employ them effectively? Do you know how to actually set up a proper support fire? Does your weapon squad leader know what rates of fire are? Does he know how to send up, how to split up sectors of fire and fields of fire, overlapping fires? Does he know how to pick them deep? Does he know how to employ machine guns in pairs? Things like that. If you can master overwhelming firepower with the weapon squads as the Rangers or Satyr, you're going to have a good time. If you can master maneuverability with the speed that Al-Zalaam offers, you're going to have a good time, right? But if you don't know how to use their strengths, it's just you're wasting your time. You're just going to get killed, okay? Do I have any questions about, or does anyone want to, one, do I have any questions about the strengths and weaknesses of each faction? Or two, does anyone want to point out any of the other strengths and weaknesses of each faction?
You did a good job of it.
All right, sick nasty. So, we moving on. Red selling, turning the map around. If you don't take anything else from this small little this tactics class, I'm saying nothing. If you don't take nothing else from this class, please take this one. This is by far, I saved the best for last. This is by far the best one that you can pay attention to. Okay, so if you're AFK and or you have me on as background music and you're here, lock in. All right, so turning the map around. What do I mean by that? Well, if I think Satyr spawned somewhere back here on that last YouTube video. And I remember Al-Zalaam, we spawned up here. I don't remember exactly the AO circle, but I know the majority of it was up in here. Okay. When I say turn the map around, or when I say red cell, you need to put yourself in the shoes of the person you're fighting. And how you do that is, hey, if I am Al-Zalaam, that is who I am, and I'm fighting Satyr, I will say to myself, okay, if I was Satyr, how would I traverse this terrain? Where would I set up ambushes? Where would I want to go to make contact with me? Where would I want to patrol? Right? And simply looking at the terrain, I see this huge open danger area. I see two of them, actually. Right? This whole big thing and this whole big thing. If I'm Satyr, I'm not going up there. If I'm Satyr, I'm probably going to utilize all the cover and concealment down here. Right? Or at least I'm going to send somebody through here. If not, at least one squad. Okay? So what should I do then as Al-Zalaam, or as, say, the other faction? I'm going to take in my head, I'm going to have to say, okay, let's just communicate, or not communicate. Let's think through the problem and then communicate how we're going to solve this. Squad leaders, bring it in. All right, hey, squad leaders, check it out. As I am looking at the map, and I think that based off the terrain analysis, the enemy is going to use all the cover and concealment on the south side of the AO to try and gain as much ground as possible. So what are we going to do? We're going to send in 2 units to meet them at the fighting, where we probably think the fighting is going to be. However, we're going to send a security unit, a security element, to ensure that we don't get completely flanked. Okay? So, what happened? Exactly how it played out in the YouTube video. That's exactly what we did, right? The enemy said they went this way. They opted for this. Okay? They sent a single squad down here, who then got overwhelmed by the 2 squads that were sent down. They then got nixed. They're off the map. This squad was like, oh no, I'm getting decisively engaged now. I need to pull back, and that's what they did. They pulled back. Now the platoon is consolidated. Now, boom, stop, pause, freeze, hands up. Pull out your map. All right, I know I just wiped out a squad to my east right here. I know I have contacts to my north. I know that if I were them, I'm probably not going to push out in the open and get shot. I know I'm probably not going to push back out in the open and get shot. So where's the most likely avenue of approach the enemy's going to take? Probably where we just ran from. So what am I going to do? I'm going to position my boys to where they're going to face where the enemy more than likely is going to come from. From here, I'll probably kick out another element and play the same cat and mouse game of, hey, base of fire, they push. While they're pushing and we're fighting it out here, I have a maneuver element coming across and finishing the job. Turn the map around. Put yourself in the enemy's shoes. What would you do if you were the other team? Where would you go if you were the other team? 9 times out of 10, you're going to make contact with the enemy, and if you play your cards right, you're going to win every time. I promise you. I promise you. Every time I PL, that's how I do it, and it works out 9 times out of 10. So, do you guys have any questions about that? Nothing at all? Okay, cool. So in a nutshell, go ahead, send it.
Yeah, Trapper has one. So what about when we're talking about elevation? So I can't really get a read on what that looks like here. But okay. And then also with having that that flanking team right to the north of the fire from friendlies, I guess there's some sort of worry about blue on blue.
Yes. Okay. So basically, if you're playing, and I'm talking specifically for Al-Zalaam,
okay,
you are playing as a guerrilla force. You're playing as somebody who doesn't really adhere to doctrine on paper, right? You're for all intents and purposes, you're a terrorist force. Your whole job is right. It's just to kill the bad guy, or to kill the guy that's in your homeland. At the end of the day, right? You don't really care about the blue on blue factor, right? Now, is it tactically sound to be doing a like a Polish ambush? Absolutely not. But in context to the game, you don't have blue on blue. You just have vampirism. Is that the best answer? Hell no. If any of my instructors from my time in the military heard what I'm telling you, they would slap me across the face. Okay. But in this context, it's a video game, so we're not too worried about it. However, if you want to play true doctrine, right, would probably be you have your Al-Zalaam units, you have your Satyr units, you're now slugging it out, right? You've already sent a unit out here to try and maneuver. They're already in position. At this point, you can make a decision based off the terrain and how this is part of your Met TC, and that's a whole nother class. But how much ammo do you have? How many men do you have? How many casualties have you taken? Right? That's a lot of things you have to digest as a squad leader, or platoon leader, or platoon sergeant. Right? Do I have enough bodies and time and ammo, right, to sustain a fight and provide enough suppression to get my boys all the way across at a perfect 90-degree angle? I would argue that's incredibly risky, in my opinion. I would 100% argue that. I would say I probably wouldn't do that, right? So what I more than likely would do is I would probably have to send, and this is going to take time, and it's going to take a coordination and communication, send another squad out here. And now guess what? These guys are the new base of fire, and these guys can now close a much smaller distance and get into the fight. Okay? And we can actually watch this play out, and I can show you in real time what actually ended up happening. Let's see if we can find it.
And yeah, there's a little bit also of a comeback mechanic as well.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me see.
Well,
If I,
platoon,
okay,
and
all right,
that's-
perfect.
They're
All right.
also running low on munitions
So
on supplies, and
I'm
it
trying to
might
make
kind
sure
of
I
temper,
have this correctly.
or kind of take.
Nope. Fast forward a little bit more. That was all bad guys. Nope. Let me continue to fast forward. Continue to fast forward. All right. So what you're seeing
Yeah,
right
now,
now
you know,
is
just
literally the
flying
same
into
exact
the-
spot that I'm showing you right here. In this instance, though, it's Al-Zalaam over here, and all of Satyr. So all of Al-Zalaam. Where did the other blue marker go? And all of Satyr. This is currently where we're at right now, for those that aren't aware. Okay? We're going to watch this play out.
The ground here, I can see that.
So here, I'm telling
the
my guys,
1-2
my squad leaders, I was
from,
like, hey,
Satyr
consolidate in
does
this tree
spot
line.
the,
We're
the
going to
enemy
pull
force
security.
maneuvering right now, but
Get
they're
set.
choosing to hold in place and report back to the entire.
This is where 1-2 had to go back and get ammo. This is why it's important for everyone to understand, like, hey, ammo count matters.
And it is very interesting.
And that's, you
all right?
Start
And there's a
seeing what
lull.
we're gonna have to see is some long range.
This is
skirmishes
where
and just
Satyr
some,
tries to
you know, overall
capitalize.
observation from both
I don't know if they
teams, seeing
saw my squad
whichever
leaving,
team,
one of my squads
you know,
leaving, and they were trying to
moves
maneuver.
first, Were, you know, sticking
All right,
to
so
their,
now they're trying to spread out, and it's just a standstill.
yeah, Satyr trying to figure out what's the play here.
There it is. Karma Cut just called it out.
We often see the understand how to
And this is where, okay, we're going to get into a tangent. I know this probably doesn't answer your question at all, but it kind of is in the same vein, so bear with me, okay? All right. So in this moment, 1-2 is still out rearming. They're not here yet. They're still out and about. I only have 2 squads. I know the enemy is over here because I got reports from some guys on this side of the tree line saying, hey, the entire enemy team is over here. So what do we do? What did we just talk about? We do what with the map?
We flip it.
Yep, we flip it. So if I'm here and I know 1-2 is off the board, I have to now assume I now have to assume that the enemy has 1 seen that, and 2 they're doing something about it. So I'm going to do I'm going to do what's called local security and push out LPOPs, listening posts, observation posts. So I will send out. I sent out 2 smaller units. Hello. Because we noticed the enemy's moving out here. So I sent out a unit out here, and I sent out an LPOP out here. I flipped the map around. If you were Satyr, right, where would you go? If you were to maneuver on me, right? What is the easiest place that you can go that offers the most cover and concealment? I started doing it already.
I mean, yeah, it'd be to your northeast at high tree line.
Exactly. So if you do that yourself, and you can recognize that yourself, you can assume the enemy's going to do that. You push out your LPOPs because guess what? You would rather have 2 guys die and tell you that the enemy's there versus your whole element. It gives you early warning, right? They start pushing. They start pushing. They start pushing. Boom, they made contact. And we were like, oh, shit. And that's where you see... Come on. Yep, here they go. Here's the LPOP. Here's another LPOP. There was some random guy just alone and unafraid up there. Here's the rest of Satyr moving. There they go. They keep moving. LPOP is getting is
bad positioning,
still waiting.
Openings in the line, as we mentioned before.
At this moment, LPOP is engaged. They reported they see what they see. Okay, now I know what's going on. Now to go back to your question, right? Let's get into what really happened on the ground. There's actually right here, based on the map. Okay, what would you do? Right? You have an LPOP engaged. Let's put another one here. You have an LPOP engaged right here. It's about 2 to 4 guys, a fire team minus, if you will. They're engaged with essentially the entire enemy team. What's your play? What are you going to do? Whoever asked that question.
So generally, I would want them to retreat, but I understand it's so hot that they can't do that. So I actually don't have a reasonable answer.
Okay. What would you do with your 2 other squads that are here at the main body?
I mean, you're just dealing with so much open field to their south and their southeast, so they can try to help assist and come into this like area of fire, but
Mm-hmm.
you're just walking them down the end of a barrel.
Okay, so let me throw in something else for you to consider as well. Can you see the contour lines at all or no?
Yeah,
Okay. Which side has more elevation, the right side or the left side?
the left side. I think. I don't know how to read
The right,
that.
it would be the right side. The right side
Okay,
has more
sure.
elevation. Okay. Now, with the right side having more elevation, does that give them kind of a advantage?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, however, what do we see right in here?
Yeah, tree line.
Yep, vegetation. So even
Right.
though they have the high ground, their line of sight is cut off. Right? So they can't see here, right? And this is you as the squad leader, the platoon leader, whatever you want to call it, leader, right? You have to be able to recognize the terrain and how to play it to your advantage, right? You recognize that, hey, they may have the high ground, but they're currently stopped by a small force. They don't know the size, but they're stopped, as well as they can't see me right now. So with that in mind, right, you know the enemy is no longer advancing towards your position, and you know they can't see you. What would you do? Where would you go?
Yeah, then you nail it in. You send your guys.
How? So
Um,
describe to me what direction? Give me a path.
I would have them really just beeline it. I know it's risky, but when you already have guys engaged, you're running out of
Mhm.
time.
Yep. No risk or no reward without no. What is the word? Fortune favors the bold. Goddamn. All right. So you're saying you would send all your units here? Yes.
Just those two fire teams, yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. So these are squad. We'll say these are squads. These are
Squads,
2
sure.
squads. Yep. And then you have another fire team up here. Okay. So how many? And this is an exercise, right? You're not. I'm not. This
Mhm.
isn't right or wrong. We're just going. We're walking through it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 squads here, and then you have a fire team here, fire team here. Are you sending both squads across? Are you sending one squad across? What would you do?
Based on what we knew, maybe 15 minutes prior, we were dealing with almost a whole platoon-sized element.
Mhm.
I would be sending both squads to reinforce
Okay.
because that I believe is what 8 people.
Okay, so here we go. Now you have 2 squads and a fire team. Okay. So from here, what's your call? You still have a fire team up here. What's your call? You're the platoon leader. What are you doing now? What's next?
Huh. I mean, they're fighting uphill, maybe not by much. I mean, they still have concealment because of the tree line.
Mhm.
Depending if I can get in contact with, like, let's say Alpha Lead, and he's not under too much fire, then try to get them over towards that more north of the tree line to secure movement for the fire team behind them, which let's call it 1-1.
Okay. All right. So where would I? This is your squad. Where do you want me to move this piece? Tell me where to go.
Northeast, just 1 square, top right.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you want him to stay or do you want him to move?
They're going to stay there because watching the
Okay.
southern side of the tree line.
So they're watching this way.
South by southeast, correct.
Okay, so this way. All right, cool. What do you want these guys to do?
Once, call it 1-2 Alpha, which is in front of them. Once they give the all clear, we send that entire fire team to take over the northeastern side tree line. So we're
So up
almost
here.
encapsulating the whole other platoon.
Okay. All right, cool. So in your mind, I want you to describe to me in your own words, right? And again, this is a learning moment for everybody. You're not right, you're not wrong. We're just talking about it, okay? At what point do you close the gate? Like at what point do you begin flanking? At what point do you begin assaulting the enemy?
So when the fire team to the right, I
Okay.
don't know
He's
what it
1-3.
assigned.
This is
1-3,
1-3,
sure.
right? Yep.
So once 1-3 is fully in position, they knew when they started movement to begin with that they're going to be the hammer force. So
Okay.
they're going to come top down. They're going to create that L shape, and we're just going to start moving into whatever whatever type of cover the enemy is behind. I mean, we do have like the manpower for it, depending on like what the casualty report was like during the engagement.
Mhm.
If we have the numbers and we have the ammo, then yeah, we're just gonna fight it out. I mean, we'll open up with 40 mics as well as grenades, since we've kind of we've honed in on their rough position. So I mean, you bring a whole fire team in, you got, let's call it 6 grenades just to lob out there. Once we let that go, dust settles, we move in and we just clean up and dead check.
Okay. Let me offer you another perspective, maybe.
Sure.
And what you said was, again, it wasn't wrong. I like where your head's at. Let me offer you. You have a 10% speed boost over your Satyr, meaning you move. It doesn't seem like a significant amount faster, but you do. You move a lot faster. So let's go back.
Oh,
Okay.
that's true. I'm thinking like a ranger almost. Okay.
Okay. So I would offer you this. I know the enemy can't see me. They don't know how many guys are here yet, right? Because they're stopped, right? My fire team, the LPOB, they're kind of just stopped. They're stuck over here. Okay. I know that in each square, I believe, is 100 meters. I believe, if I remember correctly. I know that I can move pretty quickly across this danger area here. But do I really want to be fighting uphill to an enemy that I know is at platoon strength and I'm missing an entire squad? Right? We have to remember we're still missing a squad here. Maybe not. I would argue maybe not. Right? So I'm probably going to send out my smaller other LPOP to clear a path to send my other 2 squads over here and get them on the high ground, right? Because remember, this whole time, all this exchange, the enemy isn't standing still. We have to remember the enemy has a vote, right? So the enemy is probably trying to hone in on these guys, right? And what a lot of people don't remember or don't think about is, because people know that it's just a video game, there's not really a lot of incentive for them to have tactical patience. They just want to go and get the kills. Like, for every 10 people that play any kind of milsim, 8 of them are still there to get the kills. So you're going to have 80% of these people just sucked in to the one fire team right here. Maybe you send these guys up here, get them on the high ground, which you did, right? But you use a single fire team. I'm arguing maybe send your whole force or the remainder of your force, and then bring the hammer down, because now you have something called the width of the enemy. When I say the width of the enemy, anytime you look at an enemy force, right, you have a few things, right? So if this is the bad guy, right, you have to think about it in almost in very two-dimensional terms. You have the width of the enemy, which is at face value. This is how much space he takes up at face value, looking at you. But then you also have to think about the depth of the enemy. How far does he go? If you're trying to think, like, imagine, if you will, how long is his formation? Is it just the one fire team, or are there 3 other fire teams behind him, right? So we come back here. And this is again, you're making these decisions within seconds, right? And so we can see here, let's go here. All right, so the what you're looking at now is we'll play this true to life. So you have 2 enemy Satyr units right here. Let's correct the picture right here and right here, and another Satyr unit out here. If that looks correct, we'll pull these guys back. All right, yep, here's the fire team, and then here's the 2 squads. And then here's that LPOP that's engaged with them. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to play by play. See them moving already? They're using what's called masking features. The terrain is masking their movement in defilade, meaning they are in a dead space, an area called dead space, where the enemy cannot see them. And they're going to use that dead space to maneuver up along this ridge over here. Here they come. It's a little disorganized, but it's Al-Zalaam. What do you expect?
And we're seeing that break back, right? That hit and run tactic.
All right, LPOP is now breaking contact, right? That hit and run tactic. They're breaking contact, right? They know that they cannot sustain the fight. They're Al-Zalaam. We don't have body armor. We cannot do decisive engagements. For all the questions in the chat, I'm just now catching up. I will go back and answer them once me and Trapper are done with this little doctrinal discourse. This is good. This is good.
They're going to be able to keep this Satyr element pretty bottled up
they
for a
pull back.
substantial amount of time. And you can see the rest of the Al-Zalaam element moving to kind of...
All right. So now what we're doing is we're trying to position ourselves in a way where the enemy is still discombobulated. So these guys pulled back. These guys replaced them lower down here, and these guys are trying to get staged.
of getting position
They're kind of essentially doing a hot
respond.
swap. Here's Satyr still up here. Okay. Here's my 1-3 squad getting set. The enemy is not receiving any fire anymore, so they're kind of trying to figure out what's going on.
All right, fellas.
I say 1-1. Hey, 1-1, push north. Hard north. 1-3, open up. I think he ND'd. But 1-3 opens up. Why did I have 1-3 open up? I had 1-3 open up because now the enemy who was just shooting at my boys over here, and they're facing this way, they're now turning left, and now they're focused down here. Why do I want them focused down here? Someone take a stab at it. What do I have going on over here? What's going on over here? Like a magic trick.
Well,
Trying
yeah,
to
you
do
have
what?
a flank coming around from the north, but I also wanted to mention with having 1-3 open up, they already had a rough last known position of where fire was coming from, and I mean it's reasonable to believe that they just moved to the left, and now that's where all the threat would be. So that's actually
I'm-
really smart.
So what I'm trying to do here as a platoon leader is I'm trying to make the enemy see ghosts, right? Again, Al-Zalaam has no body armor, but we're fast. We want to be able to engage but move, engage and move. So these guys pull back, these guys pop up, they start shooting. Just like a magician, you want to focus their attention somewhere else while you're doing something else on the opposite side. So while these guys are all looking down this way, they're not paying attention to what's happening over here on their right flank. And that's where these guys start to move. This guy's just spraying because this is where that last LPOP was. But these guys are fine.
Like
They're in
we're
death
about
way.
to hit a very large engagement overall.
Yep,
for
they're
the
gaining
to
attention.
control
I told
this
1-3, I
area.
said 1-3, give them the
All
business.
elements
Let them know
maneuver
1-3,
in
let them know
place.
you're there. Get their attention. Scored a little bit. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Look how far these guys were able to flank. Look how far up they are now, because all these guys did was gain their attention. These guys they are almost completely 90 degrees off of 1-3, and they're about to bring the hammer. Here they go. Pop up, shoot a few rounds, get back down. Pop up, shoot a few rounds, get back down. Again, as Al-Zalaam. You don't do this for Rangers or Satyr.
And Al-Zalaam's trying to be slippery here, not take too many losses, but Satyr moving in on the flank here. Super sketch positioning. They are going to catch a couple of these Al-Zalaam elements
There's
out. 1-3 here. Now has the
completely on the
attention of
north
2
flank.
Satyr elements. Good RPG going out here. I think these guys are down for the count. But this guy is at the very least.
And then here comes the hammer. Wait for them to open up.
But we do see Satyr aggression here.
This I did not account for. I was not accounting for this. This was my mistake. I did not tell them to make sure you're watching yourself, have local security. I take responsibility for my guys dying due to this flank.
Coming in, might be able to start turning this game if this maneuver on the
And here
north
comes
takes too
1-1.
long. Al-Zalaam is down a squad here,
I
and
put
they
myself
do not
down
necessarily
there
have the
to
best
die.
positional advantage.
They're coming.
But we do have an ambush
And then here we go. Here comes the 1-1 flank from the north.
from Al-Zalaam up.
Right, so now if we go back to the drawing board, we now have, this is what it looks like. We can delete this, to be honest. Can I delete that? I'll just bring it off the map. We now have essentially a squad up here, and like there was like an LPOP fire team kind of just fighting. So the enemy right now is now getting hit from both sides, but then there's also an enemy squad here. So we have this weird sandwich going on, okay? And then here comes 1-2 from the rear. But as you can see, right, playing the terrain coupled with the strengths that your faction has can pay dividends, right?
hill, just catching Satyr completely
Just round,
unaware.
just slugging it out now. It's just a slugfest. But Satyr has made a mistake. Satyr has committed their entire force to this single tree line. I don't think they recognize that, and there was no really way for them to do so, that I still had a squad in reserve coming up. To essentially
Yeah,
finish
and
the
then
job.
that Satyr element.
Now, with all that being said, we kind of know how it plays out. But say you didn't know, right? If you're a Satyr trapper, place yourself in the shoes of Satyr. Right? You're here in blue. You're getting engaged from your north, and from your west, and from your southwest. But you know you have a flanking squad as well in the southwest. What's going through your mind as like a platoon leader?
So I tend to get to this point where I just say like fight it out, and I
Mhm.
just assume that we could win it, but it always gets us killed. So I don't have a
So-
good answer.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. With that in mind, let's think through it, right? So, with the information at your disposal that you have right now, I want you to be a platoon leader, right? Do you play platoon lead at all a lot or no?
I've tried it a few times. I'm mostly like a platoon sergeant.
Okay, well, even still, same
Yeah,
difference.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
Right? So, you're the platoon leader. The situation right now is you have the enemy essentially pinned down in this tree line. You're getting flanked from your north, but you have a flank coming from the south. What do you do?
Well, I'm getting the guys down south to double time it. I'm already calling it into them that we are facing casualties. We're under heavy fire, and I give them a rough bearing. At that point, I am telling both squads at the north and the south to just continue pinching on these guys in the tree line. That's really all I can do. I really just think we fight it out, and let's may the best man win.
Okay. So with your I guess I guess doctrine or tactic of fighting it out, right? What other I'm trying to probe here. What
I know,
other
man.
it's okay. It's okay. The only way to learn is to talk about these things, right? And you're the only one speaking up. So props to you, right? No one can make fun of the man in the arena, all right? Because he's the only one actually challenging himself. So you as the man in the arena, what are you gonna do, right? You
So
gonna there has to be a better answer than just slugging it out.
Right.
Let's think through it.
I don't reasonably see anywhere where teams can bail off. I'm a big advocate for retreating, but there's nowhere where another team could lay down fire for a retreat, and there's no one. I mean, I think this position is completely fucked. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
can't. Like,
So I want you to think outside the box. Fortune favors the bold, right? You are like, hey, I'm in a shit sandwich, right? Extreme situations call for extreme ideas.
okay.
Anything. Fortune
Okay.
favors the bold. Give me anything. I
So
don't care how crazy it sounds.
the squad on the south side, right? Let's
Okay.
call them what was it, 1-3, I think.
Yeah, 1-3, then blue. You're Satyr. Yep, down here, 1-3.
Okay. I'd probably have them start engaging the flanking team to hold their position, right? They have to hold where they are to kind of take that fight. And our team that's flanking from the south just really hope that they make it in time. After that being said, I'm gonna assume that 1-1 at the north, I'm gonna assume they die, right? And once we have 1-2 come in, we're at maybe a little bit higher strength, and then we could reassess the fight and try to secure any casualties. I mean, it's like you're going to take losses. You can't save everybody, but it's like it's whether or not it's stop loss. Like you got to choose to cut the arm or cut the hand before you lose the arm.
I have an idea.
Okay. Remember, we're the question being posed right now is you're Satyr. You're the blue, right?
fuck.
The situation
Oh,
right now is
never mind.
no, you're good. You're in blue. You're getting flanked from your north by the red diamond, but you have a flank coming from the south by the blue rectangle, right? So you are Satyr.
Oh, bingo.
Might I
Satyr's
offer
blue.
something?
Yeah,
Satyr
go
is
ahead, man.
blue.
Right.
Well, then I'm
We're,
just flipping it around from what I was going to do from red. Take that the second from the top unit,
Mhm.
have him pushed south towards, the other one. No, not that one. The next one down. push him down towards the south to sandwich that unit that's down the insurgent. Yeah, right there. Take out that unit, then they're grouped up. Then they can just start moving north from there.
Yeah, finish them off. Good.
That's not a bad idea. Okay. Does anyone else have anything else? That's not. I'm not saying you're wrong or right. That's. I like seeing that. What else? Anyone else have any other ideas or anything different?
You make 1-1 go southwest, and then you try and make a 3v2 on those units. And then you turn around and fight the flanking one if you are fast enough.
Okay.
Well, okay.
So-
So the
ahead.
most south blue unit, they
Yep.
have an unsuspecting flank, right?
Yep.
Like at this. Okay.
the red
so-
diamond has no idea they're coming.
So we let our boys down south go ahead and do the work that they were already planned to do. We
Okay.
take our middle unit and
Okay.
we go ahead and reinforce the unit to the north.
Okay.
Um,
How would
if-
you do that?
well,
When I say how,
the-
you
yeah.
don't have to tell me details. Just give me a direction and a rough swag of where they would go.
we're booking it north. I mean, I'm getting whatever.
Or straight north.
Yes, whatever squad lead is contacting the other squad lead. He knows that they need
Mhm.
QRF towards their position. They're gone.
Okay.
And if our boys down south do their job, they keep moving it north so we can get our whole platoon back in this tree line like we did kind of before. But this time we're walking down on that final red diamond to the north.
Okay.
Is 1-2
Um,
being engaged in this scenario, or are they just sitting there?
1-2. This one too. This one
Yeah.
too is currently engaged. So let's go back to the video here.
Because they're
Yeah, I got
surrounded
you.
by open ground. They're not going anywhere.
on.
If they try and run across that road, they will
I
be
got
murdered.
you. I got you. All right. So
a great
1-2. Let's see where 1-2 is at. There's a fire team right here. That's masked by vegetation and a little bit of decline. Right.
Man.
So let's see if there's any contact happening.
This-
All right. So 1-2, which is the middle, is currently engaging 1-3. So on the map, 1-2 right here is engaging 1-3 down here. 1-1 up here is engaging the fire team right here. So it's in at a. They're both units are shooting southwest towards the respective red diamond in their lane. Okay. See that?
And Al-Zalaam's
If 1-2's in that village and they're engaging someone, if they try and run across that road, they are probably done for
Mm-hmm. Okay.
in the middle of fighting someone.
So the second, I'm gonna before I continue, does anyone else have any other ideas about what's happening or how you would get out of this?
Can you pull the stream back up?
Yep.
So it looks like 1,
Okay,
2,
let me-
1, 3
let me
kind of
play
has.
it.
A,
I'll
Yeah, you're good.
rewind it so everyone can kind of see what's going on. So we're gonna watch and take notes if you need to. We're gonna start from right here. Right, everyone, pull your popcorn out. We're gonna watch this play out. Take notes. This is 1-2. They are now moving into the town. 1-3 LPOP. It's just a 4-man team. Here comes 1-2, a squad from Satyr. 4-man team from Al-Zalaam.
We are seeing this scouting Al-Zalaam element run into a Russian squad here.
Those guys on the right should be pushing around the side of that hill rather than lying prone there watching bullets go over their
These
head.
guys? Or these
No,
guys?
the 12A, 12. Oh, it's a mixture of people. They should be. They're all just lying prone behind that hill. There's like 5 of them. Surely one of them can peek around that right and start to flank out those guys.
And we're seeing that break back, right? That hit and run tactic. They're going to be able to keep this Satyr element pretty bottled up for a substantial amount of time. And you can see the rest of the Al-Zalaam element moving to kind of get in position to respond.
I can't wait till they make the names different colors. Holy shit! I keep leaning in.
System re-engaging.
It's a crazy 40 mic mic.
All right, fellas.
All right, we are now at where 1-3 is staged. We're getting up to the point where it's led up to right here. This is where 1-3 is pushing. Okay, you see him. We see how Satyr has now moved. Let's check back. So Satyr is currently, if I'm going to draw this, Satyr is currently at this location. They're here now. These guys aren't there yet. They're still trying to go up and around.
And isn't that other Satyr unit to the south?
Yes, they're down. Where did I throw them at? Oh, they're not there yet. Yeah, they're down here. All right. This is currently what you're looking at now on this map is what's happening right here. All right, let's go back to it. So 1 Satyr was just shooting in this tree line. 1-3 is now gaining their attention about almost 30 to 45 degrees more left. Like I said before, to get them
Yeah,
to
and it
not
does
look up
seem
here.
like we're about to hit a very large engagement overall for control of this area, as all elements maneuver into place.
Is it out yet?
What's up?
Is the what you call it, the beta playtest on?
Oh, we're doing a tactical
No,
class
no.
right now, buddy. No, you're good. You're good.
Sorry.
You're okay. All right, let's move the chess pieces around the board again. So we are now here. These guys are about here now.
You have to cut that 1-2 square in half. Half the guys are dead already.
Al-Zalaam making a bold flank to the north. Hopefully, I think the plan here is to draw attention to the south here
Yep, right there.
and slip in behind the Satyr element.
Red loses this, don't
There's still a
they?
whole...
What's up?
In the end, the red team, they're Satyr, they lose this,
No
don't they?
spoilers.
Because if they're
squad from
losing it,
either
they're losing
team
it
not
now.
necessarily in
that
this
entire
fight.
squad go down to the hill. They lost
Look
at
at
this
my
point, rather
enemy
than later.
markers. That's the path they're taking
Fire
right now.
So both squads are now sucked into 1-3. There's still a fire team here, and there's a squad up here from Al-Zalaam. They're just all
And
looking
Al-Zalaam's
southwest.
trying to be slippery here, not take too many losses, but Satyr moving in on the flank here. Super sketch positioning.
All the
They are
buildings
going
on
to
this
catch a
map
couple
are
of
like
these
death traps,
Al-Zalaam
these
elements
ones that
out.
are
1-3 here. Now has the attention of 2 Satyr elements.
All right, let's go back to the map here. Try and keep you engaged. We are now here. Okay. We'll fast forward a little bit.
The northern
RPG.
Satyr, like the 1-1s, they don't know they're behind them yet, do they?
Nope. All right, there. All right, so now you're Satyr. Remember, you're the Satyr platoon commander in this scenario, in this TDG. It's called a tactical decision game. We do these all the time in real life. You now have your flank.
For this guy, he's at the very
Let's
least.
see it. Let's wait for it. All right, here, right there. You see these guys right here? You now have this Satyr squad is now in the tree line. They've conducted their flank, and they're about to roll up on the Al-Zalaam 1-3.
But we do see Satyr aggression here coming in. Might be able to start turning this game
Oh, shit,
if
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
this maneuver on the north takes too long. Al-Zalaam is down a squad here, and they do not necessarily have the best positional advantage.
But we do have an ambush from Al-Zalaam uphill, just catching Satyr completely unaware.
Yeah, and then that Satyr element up north, as you mentioned, getting it from the rear. Some devastating results here.
All right, boom. This is where we're pausing it now. We all see how we got up to this point. Okay. This squad is getting decimated. This squad is getting decimated. So we can almost argue that this squad is combat ineffective and this squad is combat ineffective. So the only pieces on the board at this moment is Al-Zalaam squad to the north, Satyr squad to the south, a Satyr fire team east, Al-Zalaam fire team east. So it's balanced. Okay. At this point in time, you are the platoon commander of Satyr. What do you do?
If I'm
1, 2, 3.
I mean, without operating without perfect intelligence, you're making the assumption that the Al-Zalaam squad to the south has been wiped or decimated, and it's probably a safe assumption. They've been taking heavy fire from like the sides and the front, and you know your northern squad's in trouble. It's Moscow. You have the high ground. If the southern unit pushes to the top of the hill, they will get, at least on the top of the hill, and they will consolidate the left side. The fixed element in the village, they're kind of exposed. They can't really maneuver because it's open ground. So I would push the north up, try to until they will run into that squad that's in front of them. They don't know they're there, but at least then you could possibly get them in an L. And then also the Al-Zalaam squad to the north, they're going to push south. So they're going to run into the squad in the village and then the squad moving up north. And you can win in a head-to-head fight because you have body armor and they don't.
That's not bad. Does anyone else have anything?
So seeing how Satyr, granted I've only played Satyr once, but like how they have heavier weapons and like an actual weapon squad and all that. Going by assumption, I would have the southern Satyr team push up on the southern Al-Zalaam, or however you say their team, and try to aggressively push them while I'm going to call them 1-2 in the middle.
Okay.
Uses their heavy weaponry, so like rockets, GL, stuff like that. Kind of focus at the more like northwestern team in the middle, and kind of keep them pinned and their fire off them, and then have the northern team push, I would say, like southeast, recover whatever casualties they can, try to link back up with 1-2, and then have the southern team, after, if they wipe out the southern Al-Zalaam team, push up towards the northwest team and wipe out any stragglers that remain, while 1-2, and I'm going to say 1-3, which is the team that fell back, holds their position and tries to keep the attention of the northernmost Al-Zalaam team until 1-3 can, or 1-1, whatever, can push around their flank and try to pinch them in.
Okay. That's a play.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this the middle squad of Satyr? Are they full force? Are they
No.
like?
They've lost the fire team. They're half.
Oh, they're half.
Yep.
So I was 1-3 Al-Zalaam on the south. We got wiped pretty quick. So I would recommend the Satyr squad on the south push from south to north and clear through as fast as possible, because once you eliminate that full squad, we're squad wiped. Both those elements on the south side are squad wiped. If that's what that top red marker, or no, middle red marker is that a fire team too?
This is, I think, 2 guys, maybe 1 guy still alive.
Yeah. So if that south Satyr squad just cleared through that like tree line, the rest of it cleared it out, they could have killed that entire squad, and that would have set things behind. Potentially, I don't know. Potentially, have that north squad, that north Satyr squad, just fall back south if they could, and then the middle Satyr squad reinforcing them to the north. But that's my only. Yeah.
So I would think about this. This is just to me how I would do it, right? There's no right or wrong way. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. This is just how I would skin a cat. Okay. If I'm Satyr and I know I'm getting absolutely obliterated from the north, this squad's Moscow. This squad's at half strength, but this squad's still at full strength. And I know I've wiped these guys, so we'll remove these guys off. I'll probably remove these guys off as well. I cannot sustain any more decisive engagements with this fire team. I'm going to utilize any cover consumed I can to not retreat. I want to reposition. I will break contact and probably have them push out here because I know there's fighting up here, right? We're all tracking that there's fighting happening. But I'm not going to commit just a squad to go take that. So I'm going to push them out here, and they're going to go lick their wounds, rearm as best they can, and get eyes on because we don't know how much is up here, but we know they're killing our dudes. But we don't want to rush to our death, right? We never want to rush to our death. I would do the same. I would have these guys because I know it's a full squad and then they didn't take any casualties. They would clean house, and I would have them find a defensive line. Okay. Reason why I would have them find a defensive line, pretty much stop somewhere where they can get eyes on. And the way they would do it is they would have one unit over here watching the left edge to make sure no one runs out. I don't need to worry about sending him out here because guess who's already out here to look? I would just set up right here. This means the enemy can only push further north into the open. Okay. Granted, I don't know that there's another enemy squad coming from back here. I don't know that yet, but we're playing this as with the information that we do have at hand. Okay. So now it is essentially a 1v1.5. One squad of Al-Zalaam versus a squad and a half of Satyr. Hold. Tactical patience. Hold. Because they're going to have to dead check. They're going to have to sweep eventually. At this point, there's going to be contact. And this is what's called a defense in depth. This is also called drawing the enemy in. Make some noise, right? Maybe a pop shot here or there. Get the squad that's fucking you guys in the north to get drawn in. Because what these guys don't know is you have a fire team laying in wait right here. The distance between this tree line and this tree line is a road. Not worried about it. They can cross that easy. These two units are now decisively engaged. Guess what this guy's going to do? He's going to sweep. Boom. Now, at that point, though, we'd probably have the other squad here. And this is important. This is why immediately after you finish an engagement, you do one of two things. A, you do a hasty 360-degree defense perimeter, or B, you get the fuck out of there as fast as you can. Okay? Now, we can argue whether to stay there and keep fighting or to leave. That it's a non-issue at that point. But I want you guys to take away that it is okay to reposition. Not retreat, reposition. Right? Because if they would have repositioned like that, where they were essentially, here we go, pushing these guys, you have them in an L shape. These guys would go this way while these guys are shooting this way. You get what I'm saying? So platoon leaders, squad leaders, if you've taken anything out of this TDG, tactical decision game, it's use the terrain to your advantage and always be on the move. Always be on the move. However, do not be afraid to stop and just gather yourself and observe. Because as human beings, what do we recognize as hunter-gatherers, what men specifically, what are our eyes pick up easier than anything else? Movement. There it is. I can't tell you how many times I'll be in the prone waiting for somebody, and I will see them way before they see me just because I'm sitting still and they're running through the tree line. Boom, headshot. He's gone. He had one straight in the running lights. No idea what hit him.
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, cut you off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
It's important to count how many dead you have as well. I mean, I'm sorry, enemy dead you have, because you can determine if that was like a full squad or fire team or like LPOP. You could relay that on to your platoon leader, who could then, decide from there if you squad wipe them or if you have QRF coming in to fuck you. So you got to figure that out.
Yeah, bodies do not disappear in this game, so that's intelligence.
Does
Uh,
anybody have any other questions that we can bring up?
Not questions, but I'd like to kind of touch on the L shape like that you were talking about because I definitely agree with you on that part. And I believe the fire team that would have repositioned was their 1-2 Bravo, so their weapons team for that fire team. So they would have had superior firepower on that flank as well. Because I would have went and had that southern squad. Because when I've played Satyr, I've noticed that they're really good on forward assaults, like especially against
With that PKM,
Al-Zalaam.
dude.
Yeah, and especially if they're because how you said stop them right there in the middle too. That's like perfect thing to do because I've had it numerous times where people, if you hear somebody like tap once, people just start running, dude, at that contact. So definitely would be the best way. I agree with you on that.
Cool. All right. What do you got? Anyone else have anything?
I would like to go back like at the very beginning when you explained how the game opened up. The two Satyr element that went. The only one Satyr element that went down, like at the very beginning of the AO, and that got wiped. I want to have your thought process on how do you recover from that.
Okay, so delete these marks. All right, so this
Yeah, like
squad,
this.
the Satyr squad, gets absolutely wiped, right?
Yep.
There's only really one thing you can do. Oh, sorry. This is where they took contact and broke contact. The only thing that you can do is you have to respawn. Obviously, we all know you respawn. You need to find a point that you can reconstitute with the platoon and get back to full strength. Because a squad on its own, through all this terrain, because you don't know if they stayed in this tree line. I can tell you right now, we absolutely did. After we killed that squad, I told those two squads to hold here, right? And we waited for these guys to finish breaking contact, right? You don't know what's waiting for you after you respawn. So you need to get back to your platoon as fast as you can in the safest way you can. And if that means you got to turn on your running simulator brain and you got to go all the way around until you link back up with them, that's what you got to do, right? Or you can risk it and say, hey, maybe they moved on and they left. But it really just depends on what the situation is, right? Because if I respawn my whole squad and the other two squads say, hey, the entire enemy team is engaging us now, okay, it's pretty safe to say I'm going to go back to where I just was and maybe catch them on a flank. But if they're saying, hey, we're in a tick, we're troops in contact, and you ask them, hey, how large is the enemy force you're fighting? It looks to be roughly about a squad. Then that tells you, okay, that means there's still at least another enemy squad out there somewhere that could ambush me. And so that is a very open question. It's a very scenario dependent question because there's a lot of variables that go into that. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. But I wanted more to your thought process of the two other squad on top. Like if they're they know they are on the low manpower because they already lost a squad, and
These two?
the other two are just gonna rally up and be full strength in a matter of minutes. The two other squad on top.
Yep.
Would you prefer to like also peel back instead of chasing the probable, the winnable fight because there are two against one squad, so it's winnable. But if they chase it, they might get in an ambush.
Yeah. So what I would do is, if I was the Satyr platoon leader and I know I just lost a squad, I would tell my dudes, hey, you are now defensive in nature. You're not chasing anything. If anything, pull back to a defensive perimeter. Wait for 1-1 to catch up, right? Because I would rather have my full platoon moving together, fighting together, than constantly being divided and conquered. That's literally all we did this entire game. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Try and isolate a fire team. Try and isolate a squad of Satyr. Wipe them. Focus on another squad. Focus on another squad. Wipe them.
Hey, I have a question.
Yo.
Do you think it favors the 75th and the Satyr factions to play more defensive? Like, play more defensive?
No. I think what it comes down to is Satyr and the Rangers need to play more coordinated. I've noticed that the Rangers and Satyr, they don't play to their strength, which is what we talked about earlier, right? And their strength is that they have no shit weapon squads, which means they don't have to dedicate a squad to be a support by fire. Meaning I can put, right? You can fill out. If you get a full team,
Yeah.
hold on. Scream at me. You can put out an entire squad on a support by fire here, and then have 3 squads online sweep through this tree line. And
Yeah.
dude, the effects would be devastating. If
So
I'm
you're saying
Al-Zalaam, I'm oof.
So you're saying kick your gun teams out in advantageous positions.
Yes, I would not attack. I'm telling you right now. I don't know
Don't
why.
attach.
I don't know why people are attaching their gun teams to the squads trying to patrol through these thick vegetation. Your M240
I think the
isn't
idea-
doing squat doing that.
I think the idea is it's like a movement to contact, but the thing is, half the time when you're movement to contact towards Al-Zalaam, they're already on you because they're faster. And honestly, Satyr too, because there's like this fascination with getting in a formation when you're Rangers as opposed to Satyr, you just run. So they've met us at near our fob before because we took so long, you know.
Mm-hmm. I would push this out. If you ever find yourself as the Rangers, don't put your freaking gun teams with the squads. That's cool when you're fighting in the desert and you can see for miles. Awesome. But when you're in jungle, your 240 is only as effective as what it can hit. But if you're prone in the jungle, excuse me, and you are just spraying into the trees, half of those bullets are hitting tree trunks. Right? And all you're doing is giving your position away. And you got to think about it like this. A 240 can reach out and touch somebody past a kilometer. Why then are you that's like imagine if you tried to clear a room with a sniper rifle. It wasn't designed for that. Your 240 was designed to be a mass casualty producing weapon system at distance. So you would take your weapon squad, post them up on a support by fire, and they can then cover your patrol as you're patrolling, right? Oh no, I'm in contact. Hey, weapon squad 1-4. This is roughly where they're at. I need you to engage. I'm marking on the map time now on my ATAC. Shoot there. Machine guns going off, right? Then you guys can start your shifting and lifting calls. We're getting a little bit more advanced here. And you guys finish your sweep. They cease fire. They are now holding security to the south, right?
I just got here late, so I hope it don't mind me jumping in. Are we talking about how the Rangers play very reserved at times?
No, we're talking about the strengths and weaknesses of each faction, right? Mainly being Al-Zalaam gets a 10% speed boost at the cost of no body armor. Rangers and Satyr get body armor, right, at the cost of being slower, but they also get actual TO'd weapon squads.
Yeah,
crew serve weapons.
What I've noticed.
Okay, but yeah, they do play reserved. He's right.
I noticed that they play so fucking reserved. They don't use that fire superiority. Instead, they stay back, and I think it has something to do because they're so scared of losing just 3 lives they have. So they play like, oh, we have to hunker down. And I'm just like, we outgun them, kill them. Like, there's no need to play defensive.
I got a question.
Send it.
How do you keep your gun teams alive, like give them security? Because I was playing Al-Zalaam a couple times, and the M240s were like 60 meters over a hill, and my squad literally, like as soon as you hear it close to you and you realize it's not shooting at you, it becomes like the biggest target for your squad to take out. And people will just literally beeline for it. So it's like, is it just, what do you do to keep them alive?
So that's why it's important, right? That's why it's important for distance. Remember, the gun is designed to reach out and touch somebody past a kilometer, right? Again, back to the idea. You're not clearing rooms with a sniper rifle. It wasn't designed for that. So your security is the space between you and the enemy, right? If the enemy tried to sneak up on you, make him have to go in such a manner that he has to cross open terrain, or he can only approach you from one direction, but you say have like 2 guys waiting back there and holding your rear security, holding your flank security. Does that make sense? Like in real life, whenever we do squad attack or platoon attack ranges supported by company level assets like medium machine guns, our machine gunners will sit up on a support by fire. We'll use this again as an example, but they will have internal security. Like the guys that aren't actively shooting on the machine gun, they're holding outboard security to make sure no one sneaks up on them. And if they do take contact, then they fight the contact, and they will have pre-planned escape routes on where they're going to go in the event that an overwhelming force tries to take over their position. Does that make sense?
It shouldn't really be that close for them to be like right there.
Like if you're Al-Zalaam and you're playing correctly, you are going to have 2-man teams absolutely crawling through the area. So that way, again, this is how I would do it, right? If I'm Al-Zalaam, I'm sending out little LPOPs like you saw in the video, and I'm trying to find the enemy. Either the enemy finds me first and they engage my LPOP, or I find them first and then I find a way to ambush them, right? But I'm finding them. And once I find them, the rest is history. So you, as a net support by fire, and you're a machine gunner, you have to tell the dudes, hey, you guys, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I have this many minutes of suppression. You guys need to hurry up. If you can't, I have to leave, because you can bet your ass some Al-Zalaam sneaky breaky ninja fuck is going to be around there somewhere here soon.
I do want to say, when you mentioned those 2-man groups, I had a conversation earlier. Can you explain the importance of recon and sending out those parties instead of just being, oh, it's a lone wolf situation? It's not that. In fact, if it is that, they're not doing it properly. Can you explain as to why that's important?
Oh, show him the clip before.
To show them the video where
fucking
3
Al-Zalaam
Ranger squads were followed by 1 Al-Zalaam squad lead, and the ambush, they got killed.
Or just before this video here, where an entire fucking Al-Zalaam
I don't know what
squad
they're on
walks
about. I just
around
had a
the north-
conversation with someone
walks around the
who
north
said
side of
recon
Eastern.
is useless. How they didn't see the point of it, and they just saw it as lone wolfing.
Hey, War Daddy.
Send it.
Hey, I'm not sure what they're talking about, but can you watch? Have you gone over the first game? The first game in this VOD.
First game. I have not
Okay,
seen the first
can
game.
you give me can you give some critiques to the Ranger team?
Okay, is there any specific things you want me to hit? 'Cause this is like a 2-hour game.
About 10 minutes in, I believe it starts. And so we're moving in formation. Can you just kind of give us
They can make a left flank. They can.
You can turn that audio down. It's a little loud.
Which one is I'm assuming Rangers is blue?
Yeah, Rangers is blue. So that's our fob. That's our fob, literally to the left. At the end of the formation, that's our fob. That road is the beginning of the AO.
Okay, hold on. Is this the same? Is it this map?
It's on the west. It's on the
right here,
west.
right?
Right there. Yep.
I remember this.
It's ridiculous.
I platoon led, so I played 2 games on this one. I won the first one, we won the first one, then we got wiped the second one. Reason being, Al-Zalaam is so quick to get up here, and it's a bitch and a half to fight out of this.
That's Satyr. I told you, Satyr was allowed to leave early.
Yes.
Satyr has a bug that they can leave early.
That's why. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we approached this LDA doctrinally. Like, we put our 240s looking south and north, and we actually spotted the Satyr to our south because we took it slow and methodical. But then everything fell off after that. The actual contact, it fell off. Because we just got hit by their grenade launchers and shit. But I want you to watch it. The platoon leader has no control over the platoon. He has some control, but not like the best.
Okay, so are you asking me to do a hindsight 2020 what I would have done kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay. So,
but for
not
the Rangers,
knowing,
because I don't know the Satyr side,
Okay.
and they played all right.
not knowing what I see right here, obviously, but you did say you spotted some guys here, yes?
We did see him. Yeah.
Okay. I would try and people, I don't know what it is. People they want to get to the destination, but they don't enjoy the journey. Okay. The journey of this is you're playing a Milsim with the boys, playing tactically, right? Yes, the firefights are cool, but remember, you're playing tactically. If you can look on your map and you can identify, i.e., it's a thin strip of tree line of cover and concealment. You've spotted some guys probably down here. Hold on, let's move the markers. You spotted some guys roughly down here, and you have to move an entire platoon across an LDA into an area that doesn't have cover and concealment, right?
Yeah.
Your friend is space. It's distance, right? Keep those guys in security and send these guys all the way up here, right? All right, cool. You bump them across. Now you continue. Get away from there. There's no way in hell that you're gonna win this fight when they're already settled in. Right?
Yeah.
If you look on your map, there's a rocky outcropping over here. You guys can continue your patrol all the way down here and get into a better position. Now, are people going to take the time to actually do that? Probably not. Right? They're just going to they'd rather just slug it out, and then whoever wins wins. But if you look, you can't really tell. But if you look across this area, there's a rocky outcropping roughly somewhere around here. And
so we utilize that. We utilized that later, but after we had already lost a lot of guys because of the initial contact, we try to hit them head on, and you can see that if you play the video. We send a squad down that thin patch of trees, and they just get fucking hit in the jaw.
It's difficult, man, because they have you in a position where you have to cross terrain that is way less vegetated, covered, and concealed than the one they occupy. Which is why I offered just go take the long way around and get to a place where there is more cover and concealment and vegetation. Because eventually they're going to not focus here as much, and they're going to pull away from that, and they're going to want to try and engage out here. Right. This AO is really shitty for anyone that spawns on the northwest side, because essentially, if you spawn up here, if you're not the first ones to get into this tree line and occupy it, it is a fucking fight to try and go anywhere else on the map. This right here is probably the most valuable key terrain on that part of the map.
Yeah, Karma did say that that was a bug, and Satyr shouldn't have been able to be there that early.
Yeah, I think that was where the assumptions were made, that the Rangers knew they were Satyr, and they assumed they were playing by the same rules. And I think they kind of meted themselves into a trap.
Yeah, that's how it played out, basically.
Yeah, that's shitty. Yeah, I experienced this as well when I played as the Rangers. Satyr was already here, and literally my whole platoon got wiped within the first 15 minutes. It was not fun.
Well, if you watch the video, you can see the rest of it. It happens pretty fast, or you can speed it up if you need to.
What you guys are doing? Yeah, you're taking that thin tree line. Yeah, and you guys got pinched.
But it's all lower ground. Everything west of the road is low ground.
It's all low, yeah. So you guys are fighting uphill and getting shot in the back. That's so shitty. Oh my god, that's so shitty.
But that's the thing, dude. The platoon leader allowed that. Like he made that happen, I think.
He's learning just like all of us. Right? He made the mistakes. He's gonna learn from it.
I was gonna say, you guys did do a number on one of the squads there that I was in. Several of us lost. Like, we had almost everybody lose a life in that fight. So it wasn't a clean fight, but it was. That was very hard pressed for you to win. I will say also.
Yeah, there was no L shape. There was no L shape to be had there at all.
And sometimes you can't achieve a perfect L shape, and that's okay. The biggest thing that you guys need to do. Okay, so right now, I'm going to tell you, if I'm the platoon leader, I need to break I need to break contact somewhere. I need to find a release valve somewhere. I'm getting shot from the high left. I'm getting shot from the low right. The only place for me to go is north, right? Because this is south.
Right.
This is west.
You can just go north.
Yes.
Yeah.
So break contact north. Get out of there. You might have to sacrifice a fire team or two to buy you that time. But I'd rather lose that fire team or two than my whole platoon because you guys are just sitting here, just getting mollywopped. Like, don't just sit there. Break contact. Oh, this is a pet peeve of mine, guys. And tell this to anyone else you play with. It's okay to pop smoke and leave. You don't have to stay and fight. We won as Al-Zalaam because anytime we realized we were like not matched, we left. There's no such thing as a fair fight. If I'm fighting another squad one-on-one, squad v squad, I'm popping smoke and leaving until I can get my fucking homeboy and then my homeboy squad, and then we're gonna both double team them. Ain't no fucking way.
That's also put people in mind because we've had times where we get like pinned down somewhere and no one's just popping the smoke. Squad leads just always tells us to sit there and
I think why they're scared to pop a smoke is because it tells the enemy something is going on. We are leaving. We're trying to maneuver, and now they're paying extra attention. Them popping smoke is that illusion of I don't
they're
pop
already
it, they don't know me.
they already see you.
Exactly.
They're, you know what I'm saying? So if anyone's scared for popping smoke, think about it like this. You can either have a small chance of survival by popping smoke or have a no chance of survival by staying there. Those are your options.
Yeah, War Daddy. I think after this point, I think they do break contact, the Rangers, and they move north, and they actually pretty much exit the AO or move alongside the perimeter, and they wrap all the way around the map from the west side all the way to the east side. And it was pretty bold, and it didn't actually work out in the end too well.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they didn't go far east enough. Like they came down back into
Yeah.
this middle area. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke. This happens after
Oh,
this
right here.
engagement. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you guys
happens
are-
after this
You're
engagement. But
still
yeah, we
fighting from a
we
disadvantageous
chose.
terrain.
Yeah, we chose that middle area. I didn't choose it, but they did.
I'm gonna hop back on the earlier question. Can you explain why recon elements are in fact important?
Yes. Okay.
And
So
they are-
recon elements. Why are they
Yeah.
important? Check me out. Right. Check me out. If you guys would have pushed out, we'll use this as an example. Check me out. Here we go. Live, laugh, love. If you would have pushed out a two-man team down here, you more than likely would have ran into. Hold on. Let's get to it. You would have probably ran into these dickheads before the main body got there. And that would have told you, hey, don't go any further south because you're going to get sandwiched. Right there. Boom. Best case scenario for recon. Early warning. They just told you don't go further south because we see that there's enemies also on the other side of the road, not just the other side that we saw. So you're walking into a trap. That would probably the best case scenario for the recon element, right? Don't be afraid to push out two-man teams, four-man teams to go scout an area before you risk the rest of your whole platoon. Like, look at this. If he would have just sent a two-man team out here on this side, small signature, sit in the tree line or a bush, before the call would have been made to send the whole platoon to come in here and get sandwiched, you probably would have known they were coming, and you probably would have avoided this right here. So don't be afraid to send out, and squad leaders. If you're a squad leader, hey, second fire team, can you send two guys out? I need you to push up ahead about 100 meters. You know, they're the vanguard. Push out 100 meters. You know what I'm saying?
And it should never be done alone as well, because people kept saying it's just lone wolfing. It's like, well, if that's the case, then you're not doing recon correctly. That should never be the case.
I think it'll get easier, especially once they get a fourth squad on both teams. Because I think the fear is you're sacrificing too much combat power. You don't have a lot of it already.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
If you're maxed out, you have 20.
the whole point would be behind that though is you're not even really sacrificing anything because the support by fire is right behind them. All those two people have to do is run back, and they immediately have that fire superiority or fire support back. So I mean,
Well, we will.
Running away is always an option.
They need to. I wish there was a way for them to open up a training server, like just a single server that's set up so that we could just do this in the game.
I'm sure if you ask, they can leave a server up one day.
Yeah, that's a lot of overhead that they would have to pay for. I don't think they want to. I don't know.
I know they discussed having a training server up already, so.
Well, we do most of our training in Reforger. The people I run with, we do that, and then we're waiting for this to drop, and then once this drops for real, we're gonna hit it hard, because that's the only thing we got. You know, like until they open up a freaking training server, or until they open it up where we can just play whenever.
I'm just contractually obligated to hate Armor Forger. Armor
You said what?
I'm just contractually obligated to hate Armor Forger.
Oh no, dude, I love Armor Forger.
The Forge is pretty fun.
Armor 3 for the win.
Okay, hold on. A couple basic questions with
yeah.
relatively objective answers. Turkey communication. How is point of influence dictated with availability of the squad level radio? So because of the squad level radio, you can honestly, bro, you don't even have to be right there at the team leader with the team leaders. You could be 100 meters back for all I care, but you aren't as effective 100 meters back because you can't see what's going on. So be within eyesight, visual contact of the situation, but far enough back where you can still influence your team leaders at the points of friction from your point of influence. Let's see. Should squad level radio be kept clear of non-FTL outside of critical information?
Fuck yes.
If you're not a fire team leader or a squad leader, stay off the radio. You can pass it literally in proximity chat. And to be honest with you, if you're too far away from, thanks Black, too far away from your team leader to pass something in proximity, you're probably too far away. Case in point, probably not close enough. You're not with your team. Al-Zalaam optimal engagement range further than RR due to speed advantage. Fuck no. Do not tie Al-Zalaam to an optimal engagement range. Tie it to a terrain-based range. If I can engage due to the terrain that suits my speed advantage, that's what I'm going to use. Not a specific distance. Keep distance, utilize that speed, being able to break into. If you're too far away, you're not going to hit shit with iron sights. You know what I'm saying? If you're close enough to do the proper ambush, do the proper ambush, but then get out of there. Use the speed to get out of there. Don't be afraid to get into engagements. Do not get decisively engaged. There's a difference. Rangers can you go over conditions-based scheme of maneuver? Absolutely. All right, conditions-based scheme of maneuver. Have we all seen dominoes where you tip one over and the rest fall? This question is coming from Timbro Slice. Have you all seen that? You tip one domino over? Yes, hopefully.
I've done that in the warehouse on accident.
Oh yeah.
All right. So what Tim is asking is condition set based tactics, right? Or conditions based. What does that mean? No one needs this triangle anymore. Speed, surprise, violence of action. Hope not. You can just write it from memory. All right. So conditions based tactics is this. You have 2 units. Oh, that's wrong. You have 2 units. The riflemen, the rifle squad, the weapons squad. Okay. There's a hill right here. Okay. And there's a lot of vegetation right here and defilade. Defilade meaning like just map terrain that hides you, layman's terms. Okay. There's an enemy right here. Okay. Conditions-based tactics is the weapons squad is going to get to their support by fire. And once they occupy it, the assault element will creep up to their LCC or assault pause and wait. They could be all right here, we'll say. So first step, occupy support by fire. Second step, stage an assault pause. All right, so in order for the assault element to get into their assault pause, The support by fire has to get set. So this is literally step by step. All right. 1, SBF. 2, assault pause. 3, SBF engages enemy, which sets conditions for the maneuver to begin buddy rushing onto the enemy objective. That is condition set at the bare bones minimum. In order for this to happen, this to occur, it's literally in step order. Step 1, shoot bad guy. Step 2, after shooting bad guy enough, run at bad guy. Step 3, after I shoot bad guy enough and run at bad guy, I need to dead check bad guy, set and defense. Like, super simple. 1 cannot occur until the step 2 cannot occur until step 1 happens. Step 2 cannot occur, or step 3 cannot occur until step 2 happens, right? That's conditions-based tactics. Any other questions? I don't work tomorrow, so I got time.
Lucky.
Should you always conduct the run part of a hit and run if you manage to hit hard enough to break a line? Is that worth the risk of what usually? Okay. It depends, right? If you do a hit and run, right, and this is risk for reward. This is you, okay? Here's the 2 of you, or so we'll say the 4 of you. Here's the road. Here are the bad guys on the road. We'll say it is another 4-man team. You engage said, and they're going this way. You engage said bad guys. Bang, bang, blammy, blammy, blammy. Right? You realize you killed all of them. Awesome. But do you risk staying there to sweep the kill zone and maybe get compromised by the rest of that squad, and now you're outnumbered 2-1? Or do you just boot, scoot, and boogie back out of there? It depends. It's difficult to give a solid answer whether you should or not, because I'll tell you what, if I engage an enemy, I'm not staying. Never. I'm not staying, because I don't know who else is out there. 1, my position has been given up. 2, I've just used up ammo. 3, I may not have killed all of them, and they're probably calling for reinforcements. So I'm leaving. I'm not staying. Hit and run, always run for me.
Okay.
You don't have to listen to me, but I'm never staying.
I was curious because usually when Karma brings up, he says if you down an enemy, right, you just leave and they revive them, it's seen as a waste of ammo. So,
I mean, again, it depends, right? If you down them, right? Do you really think that the guys over here who are maybe 100 meters behind, and you're over here, you just smoked their homeboys in this kill box, right? Do you think they're going to immediately come here, or do you think they're going to come hunt you first?
Oh, they're going to hunt you.
They're going to hunt you first. So you leave. Hit and run doesn't mean you run away from the fight completely and never come back. Hit and run means you hit them. Now let me reposition maybe to this side of the road. Or maybe let me push further down the road, but I can still see the guys I killed, and if the enemies come to try and revive, I kill those guys.
Also, this is just a good add-on to that. How do you, because I just don't know how, but maybe you can add more context to it. How do you make a smaller force feel like a much larger force?
Spread yourselves out. Easy.
Okay.
Spread yourselves out and move. I'm right here. Right here. Right here. Say it's 3 dudes. The distance between you, 100 meters.
I know what
There it is.
Go ahead, Power.
Now you're getting shot at by a unit that feels like they're spanning 200 meters when in reality it's 3 dudes.
Because what I've used to do before. Sorry, go ahead.
That's it. Spread yourselves out and move.
Go
ahead.
Because what I used to do, because I one time my whole squad got wiped and I was alone, and I was behind enemy, and my first idea was like, okay, I still have all my grenades. Typically, when there's a burst of gunfire followed by grenades, that's multiple people doing it. Usually, rarely one person does it. So what I did was I mag dump or half dumped the first mag, threw 2 frags, and then emptied the rest of my mag out. And apparently it worked because they called out they had 2 squads behind them, and it was just me by myself. So what I've noticed is if you space out your munitions, they think it's more than one person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you have a response for that, War Daddy?
No.
I was just gonna say, do you think it's important to play near your fob, like maybe if anything middle of the map, halfway, as opposed to far end of the map away from your fob? I feel like it's more important to be closer. Is that obvious, or do
Say
you
that
think
question. I'm sorry. Say that question for me one more time, please.
do you think it's important to stay close to your fob?
Okay, so I'll tell you what. If I am, where's the map? Okay, so we'll do another. Let's do an AO. Okay, let's do. Nope, that's not it. All right, we'll go here. All right. You guys know that you're going up against, I don't know, the terrain that you're fighting in does not favor you, right? The deeper you go into it.
Right.
Probably stay within a bubble where if you lose somebody, they can quickly get back to the fight. And this is only, we'll say, just easy numbers, 10 meters away, versus you guys are all the way out here and it's 20 meters away. That's double the amount of time and distance they have to cover to just to help get back in the fight. For me, I don't like pushing really far away from my fob, because you have to think about it like this. As long as you're in the circle, you're achieving the objective, half of it at least. And the enemy's eventually going to have to come to you. And all
But
you have to do is operate in this small area, keep killing them over and over again. You take casualties, they can get back in quicker. Versus the enemy,
But I have a
you got to come all the way down.
Sure, I have a follow-up question though.
Have a
Oh, you
follow-up
deleted
answer?
you deleted everything.
All right, here you go.
So, but what if you have a small element killing people coming into the AO from their fob at a closer proximity, like all the way on the other side? Like you've a small element that's ambushing them.
Okay,
You
that's
think that's
different.
also
Yeah,
important too, right?
That's different. If I'm Al-Zalaam, I'm doing that. If I'm the Rangers in Satyr, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Because if I lose, if I'm Al-Zalaam and say my guy dies and he's all the way over here on the enemy's house, right? He can move quicker. You know, he can get back in the fight quicker. If I'm Rangers, dude, the amount of time it's going to take me to get back to that harassing area. What you could do though, right, is I'll tell you what, that actually brings up a good point. Let's do this. Let's do a thought exercise. You are Rangers and you have managed to, here's the enemy fob. We'll put an X here. Here's our fob. We'll put a circle here. As Rangers, you have managed to get you've managed to get at least a fire team over here and a fire team over here. And they have a good ambush point set up. They die. Right? What do you do? What do you tell them to do?
I would replan at that point.
What do you mean?
Well, they're dead. They're out of the fight. They have to respawn, right?
Yeah. So what do you do after they respawn? What's the command you're going to give them? They've done their job. They've gotten a few kills. They maybe wiped out a squad here and there. What do you tell them?
Oh, I would just say respawn and we'll figure out a plan. I don't know.
So what's the context here? Sorry.
Okay, so you have 2 fire teams of yours pushed out to basically main spawn camping is what we're going to call it, right? Anytime the enemy comes into they're able to kill them. They've killed at least anywhere between a fire team to a whole enemy squad, somewhere around those numbers. After that, they eventually get killed. What are your next orders for them?
Do they have to push out to get their people?
What do you mean? No, they're dead. They're wiped. They're gone. All of them.
Oh, they're dead?
Yep.
I'd honestly have them just respawn and pick a new position to hold and see if we can maybe recreate the same scenario without making it obvious that we're trying to do the exact same thing.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen it done, so I have not seen this done before. But it could be a potential, like, good tactic to do.
Wait
to
a
find out
minute.
where they're coming from.
Wait, you said it's at FOB?
Yeah, you're at the enemy FOB.
I would retreat right away. Because what I just did was useless. They don't lose lives. So what I'm doing is burning my own ammo.
No, not their FOB. They're in the AO. They are killing them as they come from their FOB.
Same thing. If they're just
let me try and be
no.
Maybe I'm
they're
not
in the
explaining
AO.
this correctly.
It
Here we
counts
go.
as a
Here.
kill.
All right,
I think you
go.
you need more information.
All right, here we go.
They died on
Here's-
the other side of the circle.
Here's the AO.
Bro.
Here's the enemy FOB. Here's your FOB. You have 2 friendly fire teams out here waiting for the enemy to essentially come into the AO, and then they murk them. They kill anywhere between 4 to 9 guys. The enemy catches on, and they eventually get killed. They are all dead. What is your next command for those 2 fire teams?
I would push back the ambush point and repeat the same thing, and then next time push it forward so that next time when I think it's going to push back further, it's actually going to be right ahead of them. That's what I would do.
So you're doing what's called it's not a defense in depth, but it is a defense in depth. And we'll go over that after we get more answers. What other answers you guys think? So you just lost your 2 ambush fire teams. What are you doing? What command are you giving them? They're like,
I
hey,
would
we've
probably
respawned. Where do you
reconstitute
want us
them
to
into
go?
the main body of the squad, because also spawn camping is it's dependent on you actually killing the enemy so they respawn, and that should be the priority.
I think the context here is if it was successful.
Yeah, so I whoever said reconstitute, I would agree with you, right? They've served their purpose. They've attried the enemy. There's no reason for us to continually push them out into unknown territory that the enemy has now gained, right? Because at first, we got to think about this. At first, we were denying the enemy this area because of those ambush points. But now that our guys are gone, they now have freedom of movement to push further in and say now they're about this far in, right? They've gained a lot of ground, right? We, right, maybe are here, and there's a level of no man's land in between that no one has taken contact in yet. Did I just make the Pepsi symbol? Crazy.
Yes, you did.
Right? So I would have them reconstitute with their squads to be full combat power and then start pushing in more aggressively. Now we're hunting.
And if anything, the enemy will be wary about re-entering the AO from that point on to serve the purpose. They've slowed it down.
Yeah, they're just going to walk around. Yeah, they're just going to find another entry point.
Well, it's just a matter of how you want to play them.
So I mean, it's opportunistic as well. Like you pull them with you to start with, and then if an opportunity opens up, you send them again later. You may as well pull them back and have them walk around looking for people that aren't there anymore for a bit.
Yep. It also depends how many.
Those 2 fire team would be more like a recon role, because anyway they're gonna fight against an infinite force. People are just gonna spawn back, and they will know where you are. Because if someone died twice to you, now they pretty much know where you are behind that big rock. So those 2 fire team, in my head, should be more like recon unit. Like, okay, we see an enemy element moving northeast, and let know the PL. Okay, now there's a full squad moving up north, and so the PL can adjust and set up ambush to have always have the upper end, because you have more info on your side.
Yeah, I would have, after the first ambush, pull them back, because, don't get greedy. And then maybe defense in depth. Make them do it again 100 meters further back or 200 meters from a different angle. But I mean, there's no point once you've spoiled that you're here. There's no point staying around.
Perfect. That's exactly the answer we're trying to get to, right? Because, be honest, who here does not know what a defense in depth is? It's okay if you don't.
Me.
Okay, all right. So a defense in depth is this. The enemy, I know for a fact, is going to be coming from that direction. I have made it up to this line. Okay. And I'm holding this line. The Russians are actually really good at this. They developed this to counter NATO style maneuver warfare for any of those nerds out there. So what the Russians would do, or what a defense in depth is I'm going to purposely let you get into my AO, occupy this new space. Now, based off what I just drew, what is a huge glaring concern now?
The flank.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
surrounded.
instantly surrounded, whether you know it or not. So this is what we call essentially, you want to avoid the surfaces and exploit the gaps, okay? But we don't want to also rush to our death. If I'm fighting an enemy and it feels too easy and I'm just chasing them down, I'm probably being led this way for a reason. And I'm telling you, in game, it is incredibly difficult to recognize this because you don't get that real world feel. You don't get that gut feeling in real life like you normally would. But if this feels too easy, if I'm getting shot at and I can visibly see this dude run away, take cover, shoot at me again, visibly see, he's probably setting me up for something, right? But people don't realize that. So what you can do, and I'm going to try this next play test. I'm going to try it. Is set up in a way, and we'll come here. We'll set up in a way. We'll just use this AO that we were in, since most of us are familiar with it now that we've talked about it as nauseum. We're going to be the blue shapes this time. Set yourselves up in a way that when the enemy comes in, right? Because no sane enemy is going to try and cross this open danger or this one. Set yourselves up in a way where the route they take naturally canalizes them, and you purposely pull back, and then he comes in here. Yeah, chalk that one up as a win.
That's a bad day.
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
but
the key here though is to have patience. If you're the
Mhm.
blue guys, you got to have the patience to not overstep it.
You also got to understand how much do you commit to breaking down. Do you commit your whole squad to this position, or do you commit 2 guys to this position and the rest of your squad already back in depth waiting for them? You know what I'm saying? It's all super dependent. And then you also have to ask, how far off to the flanks are my adjacent units, right? Because if they're too far, they're no help. If they're too close, it's not really defense in depth because the enemy's still hitting a surface. The enemy's going to try and exploit the gaps, just like we are, right? So I would love to see people try this because with maneuver warfare, right? If we see that we're getting punched right here, or if we're trying to punch right here, and we're in suppression, right? Or we're on the maneuver and we're hitting the surface. NATO doctrine, American doctrine, is to try and flank. But guess what? Boom, I just hit someone here on the flank, right? And so maybe on purpose, I'll pull this guy back. He comes in. And sure, you're getting attacked from here, but now this guy's getting attacked from here and here. Right? So create false gaps. Let them come in. And then when they get there, it's too late. This takes practice, by the way. Everything that I'm teaching, it's taken me a decade to get good at this.
I am curious because aside from just simple, oh, you see them actively doing it, or just it feels easy, what can you do, or what can you look out for while in the shit? Can you go like, I know the enemy is doing a maneuver of some kind. They're attempting to fix me. Like, what can you look out for as early signs that they are attempting a maneuver on you that isn't an obvious one?
if you're receiving a large volume of fire and then you're no longer receiving a large volume of fire, you have to ask yourself, why did that stop? Then you have to ask yourself, if I was shooting the enemy and I stopped, why would I stop shooting the enemy? Is it because I'm reloading, or is it because I'm breaking contact? Is it because I'm trying to maneuver most of my forces somewhere else, maybe on a flank? You know what I'm saying? The other one would be if I'm getting hit from, say, the north, I have to be ready to accept the fact that and assume the enemy is already maneuvering on me. He's already on his way to flank me. So you have to say, hey, you know, you have to dedicate maybe a team or a squad. Say you're the platoon leader, and say that. Let's do this. We're right
Well, it
here.
seems a lot of these tactics are on a platoon level rather than a squad level.
Even on a squad level. Well, because Marine Corps tactics are a little different because we have 3 teams. The Army only has 2, but you can still do the same thing, right? An Army squad is made up of 9 individuals. You can do 3 teams of 3 if you really wanted to, right? So, the enemy is shooting you guys from the north. You guys are all here, and we'll just say, for all intents and purposes, it's an Army squad, 2 teams, plus a squad leader in the back. I'm engaging. I'm at the point of influence. I look at my ATAC. I'm flipping the map around. If I'm the enemy and I was trying to fix me in place, where would I flank from? Where would you flank from? You know?
From the east.
So, boom. So then you can tell your dudes, hey, Bravo team, your 2 most eastern guys, make sure they're watching to the east and cover our right flank. Easy day. Just like that. Then you don't even have to think about it. And then if you do take contact from the east, right, this maneuver element is predicated on a support by fire or someone trying to fix you in place. If you just ignore them and say, yeah, fuck you, dude, and then you pull back, break contact, and now you guys start fighting this guy, by the time this dude realizes what's going on, it's going to be too late because he's going to have to, 1, recognize what's happening, and then 2, cover the distance to try and get across. You guys have already more than likely cleared and broken contact, and then you guys just turn around and get ready to do a defense in depth against this guy. It's all dynamic. You got to be thinking on your toes.
I'm curious about that flank because no doubt the enemy probably has an element there, scouting, defending, whatever. Do you punch through that as quick as possible, or do you just have to take the long way around? Like, what would you do in that scenario if you knew there was a small element in that tree line to the east?
And they were coming to flank me?
No, you are the flanking element. You just know they have a small element looking out there that you're probably going to run into if you do the direct route. Do you just try to punch through it as quick as possible, or do you take the long way around?
Oh, no, at that point, I'm going to do peels, hit and run, until I find a gap. Hey, I know they're looking to the east. I can't. That's a surface. Remember, avoid the surfaces, exploit the gaps. That's a surface. I don't want to hit that surface, so I'm going to come a little bit further here. Is that a surface? Surface. Come out here. Oh, there's a gap. Punch through.
Think like a fluid. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah. No. I get it.
And that's what I mean by don't rush to your death. You can be doctrinally sound, or the saying is be doctrinally sound, not doctrinally bound. Just because you're told time and time again to have a 9-degree offset and do an L shape and then punch through doesn't mean you can do that, or it's the smartest thing to do in that situation. I'm not going to wastefully throw bodies at a problem just because I was told to be at a perfect L shape. I'm going to find the opportunity by testing it, probing it. Nope, there's people there. Nope, there's people there. No one there, go. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's going to be iffy because now you got to work geometries with your friendly units and make sure you don't shoot each other, right? That's just another communication piece. But, that can always be worked on.
I think that's a lot of people need to get used to what guns sound like, because once you're used to it, it is very, very easy to tell if it's a Russian AK, if it's a Ranger weapon, and so on and so forth. It is very easy to tell once you pick up on it.
Yep.
I mean, and for the squad question, for like, if you're just a squad, I'm usually the medic, and I'm usually put in the rear for a reason. I'm staying in the rear, and a lot of these just kind of like long range engagements, and I'm watching the flank. I tell my squad leader on my FTL, look, I've got rear, I've got 6, I've got left or whatever, because I know that they're maneuvering.
It should also be, quote me if I'm wrong in this, but like personally, for like any SL or mainly FTLs, especially dealing with the medic, because as I say, I play medic role a lot. I usually suggest like keeping the medic towards the back of the fire team, not out in the front of combat. Because I've seen it plenty of times where the medic would be in front and they're the first ones to get hit, and then slowly does the other squad get hit where if the medic was in the back, they could have retrieved their fallen comrade, whatever. Or I've seen it where medics will just rush out. Like I'm guilty of this too a couple times where they will rush out to grab someone in the middle of like open fire. And there's no suppressing fire, nothing. They just rush out there.
I'm curious for the others. Why do you guys put your medics in the back? I'm genuinely curious.
Putting the medic in the back, it's less like. So, like the example, you run with your fire team, and all of a sudden, they get fucking nailed with a GL. If you have the medic placed kind of further back from your fire team, it takes less risk that your medic gets hit. And if he's still operational, say like the other FTL is not close by, that medic can provide some fire until the other fire team can push in, and then the medic can get to work saving his fire team. And instead of, you lose everyone right then and there, and then the other fire team can't get to you and you lose more lives.
Because what I want is, I always want the medic to be the last person to die in every foreseeable engagement. So I don't want them in the back where any flanking element will instantly kill them. And I don't want them in the front where anything will instantly kill them. I want them in the middle favoring their rear. So that, if a GL lands in the middle, he might be fucked up, but he's not dead. But I don't want him in the rear.
I mean, you gotta. I'm not saying like keeping him completely back, but like, yeah, definitely like more back than you say the rifleman or your GL.
As to your question, this is something that Karma was hammering us in. I'm not hammering us, but we have to relearn a lot of things. We've been taught by video games that you can just respawn instantly, or you've got tickets, you've got it's a battlefield. It's just an instant defib in your back. You just have to rewire your brain into thinking, okay, you got to slow it down. If you're a medic, wait for security, then go to work.
I'm gonna head out. I got some fire shit tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you, War Daddy, for this.
Of course, buddy.
Academic.
If your medic dies first, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
you are.
The medic dies first, followed by the squad leader. You're completely fucked.
Well, that's a good thing you brought up, right? So generally, the first fire team leader is going to be what's known as the A/ or the assistant squad leader. If your squad leader dies, your first fire team leader should instantly take up the reins and begin issuing commands and making shit happen, like automatically. They shouldn't be told to do that. He should be privy on what the plan is, and he should be able to operate off of the commander's intent and what the end state is without really anyone appointing him to do so post death of the squad leader.
Yeah, if you die as squad leader, you get revived and look at the map and realize your squad's been milling around in the same spot for the last 2 minutes while you've been lying on the floor.
All right, thank you, War Daddy. I want to go to bed.
Yeah, y'all get some sleep, man.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Later, dude.
Merry Christmas.
Hey,
Merry Christmas.
War, I've got a meta question for you. Are you
brother.
Are you or any of the dev team, or is anybody recording this that you know of?
Oh shit. Good question. Next question.
Well, I was just gonna say I'm recording it, so I'll be throwing it up on my channel.
Oh, okay.
And if you or at any point, Drewski or anybody in Astarte wants the raw files that I've got, because I record nearly all my gameplay and all of these training classes that I attend and everything. All you dudes would be welcome to it. So just hit me up if you want it.
Roger.
But it'll be up on American Jedi 000's YouTube channel here in a little while.
That dude Drewski says higher than a kite.
Who?
I do? I just said Roger.
It was the way it was the way you said it. You like unmute your mic like Roger, and then you like muted your mic back.
Have you
He's up in the clouds.
Did you just review the later games, or did you review the earlier games for the last playtest as well on Sunday?
I only did the last one because that's the one that I played. It's not that I don't care about the other games. It's just I don't really have any takeaways for me to get.
No, for sure.
You ever play sports and then you watch film after game day so you can point out what you made mistakes on so you can get better at it? That's kind of like how I look at it. And
Yeah.
I'll tell guys all the time. I think on Saturday's playtest, I told my squad leaders that I PL'd for, like, hey, shoot me a DM, tell me where I've messed up, what you think I can do to fix it, and then I'll do approved sustains for you guys as well. Because I think I'm a big believer, rising tides raise all ships. If we can all come together as a community and just hold each other accountable to get better, it's just going to be a better community as a whole. Because what I hate to see is this turned into another squad community. Like, been playing squad since 2015, and then it just took a turn for the worse, where the community just got so toxic and Call of Duty like, and nothing against Call of Duty, but you all know the type of mindset the type of people that play that game is. It's all about me, and you're like, dude, like, this is a team game.
Yeah, that's why I chose to hit you up that day that me and you talked about the game where we were a little bit unfortunate with Satyr having to jump on the
Oh yeah, we got our cheeks clapped, brother. There was no going back from that one.
Oh, I think
we
it was on
got
the other side. Was that the
Ramper.
first match?
Say again?
Was that the first match of the fucking the playtest, that session?
No, that was my second match. The match before that, we played as Rangers, and we absolutely mollywopped the other team. And then literally the next game immediately afterwards, we got mollywopped.
Yeah. So we walked up and all I hear is, I believe Drew called like contact close southeast within 50, and I was like, wait, they're already like right on top of us. And then it just fucking started. RPGs flying, GLs. Half of Alpha immediately went down from 1-3. I got a bandage off and passed out to do the pain. It was just fucked.
Yeah, I was gonna mention there's some two things we touched on that the very first firefight in session 3 that was streamed. There's a great example for. One was the gun team being an aggressive squad, and was like the only time I've seen it done. And also assaulting that position on the southwest side of the river with that big forest that's really hard to take as the Rangers if the other team's there. We took that as the Rangers when the team was already set up there. So yeah, session 3 had like the perfect example for that one, or those two things we talked about.
Sorry, I'm eating a chocolate flavored hazelnut spread Uncrustable.
That sounds delicious.
They're really good.
Frozen, I might add.
You're
Even
eating
better.
it while it's frozen?
Yeah, you ever freeze a chocolate Uncrustable? Oh my goodness.
I haven't.
Is there
I guess
any
I'm
better way to
missing
eat
out.
them? They're better frozen.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to hit on tactic wise? I'm down for anything. I'm about to just peruse YouTube.
No, I can't think of anything. Thanks for what you have covered so far, dude.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to it's gonna get to a point where we're all gonna be just hooking and jabbing, and it's gonna look awesome.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
everyone's
it's gonna
on the
be.
same page about everything.
It's gonna be so sick, man.
I just need the game to drop. I need to scratch an itch.
Yep. That's what I've been saying,
People
dude.
already
This
have
this scratches
withdrawals.
an itch that nothing else scratches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it, my dudes. Thanks for the class yet again, War Daddy.
Yeah, man. Y'all take it easy. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Yeah, yeah.
Christmas.
Merry
Thank
Christmas
you.
to all of y'all.
Thank you, more daddy.
Hey,
Thank
you guys
I'll
be
see you guys.
Later.
Yeah, you guys be sure to point people to the video that I'm going to throw up. I'm not trying to just pump my channel. I'm just trying to get everybody learned up. So I'll be putting these training classes on American Jedi's YouTube channel.
Because knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
All right,
reviews
dudes.
are so helpful for getting better as well.
All right, dudes. I will catch y'all later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, later.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.